Thomas Camps. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.
Good morning, Rutherford County. It's time to get up and at 'em. Wake Up Saturday with Dalton Barrett on News Radio WGNS.
That's going to do it here for me on Wake Up Saturday. Coming up right now, we're going to hear from your local high school coaches on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's.
This is Primetime Sports, WGNS Murfreesboro, on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, streaming worldwide on WGNSSports.com, and always at the game. The game. It's where you've had breakfast with the coaches since 1992. It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner. We'll talk to the coaches about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. Now from News Radio WGNS, it's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome into our coaches' conversation here on this Saturday morning. Brian Barrett joined here by John Dinkins and Clark Blair here on this, second day of September already. You know, we're just exactly a month away from fall break. That's kind of hard to believe, isn't it? So lots of football scores from last night. And we've got college football starting in earnest today, so we'll detail some of those goings-on here as well. Last night, another big non-region night of sports for the majority of our teams. And we had, from Siegel last night, their victory over the Smyrna Bulldogs, 35-14. Siegel Stars 3-0. Great start for Siegel. And if you want to check out the podcast, you can do that on our website. They had a night to dedicate their field turf and, smiles all around. And they got the victory on top of that, too. So 35-14. If you missed the game, you can check the podcast on our website at WGNSSports.com. Listen back. Also, lots of places where you can find the audio for that. Other scores on the Jennings and Ayers Funeral Home scoreboard from last night. Blackman dropped a tough one. Man, it was back and forth. I can't remember how many times they were tied last night, you know. Seemed like every time that Blackman took a lead, Ravenwood would come back, and, you know, they spent much of the evening tied. I think they were tied at 21-28. But Ravenwood pulls out the victory 35-28. It was Riverdale defeating Beach 16-14, and 3 field goals, I think it was, last night from Khalil Arman, all 3. And won the big difference maker in the 2-point win over the Beach Buccaneers, last year's runner-up to Oakland in the 6A state championship. Speaking of Oakland, they go to Haywood. Now you're saying, where's Haywood? We've got a Haywood County, okay? That's out in Brownsville, if you know where that is, in West Tennessee. About a 4-hour road trip, I think, for Oakland. And last week they go to Indianapolis, and it was a 5-hour trip. So, you know, getting around this volunteer state is kind of tough sometimes. But a long road trip, 30 or so. Wilson Central beating Laverne 28-14. Wilson Central's off to a great start this season. It was Moore County 45, Eagleville 20. MTCS defeated Grace Christian 42-13. And our congratulations to PCA. They win their first 11-man game and first TSSAA game with a 35-7 victory over Mount Juliet Christian. So that is the scoreboard from last night. Your Jennings and Ayers Funeral Home schedule next week. Kind of a look ahead. We try to set this up because we talk about last night's games and look ahead to the next week. Each coach on the show this morning. Rockvale will be at Stewart's Creek, and that will be our broadcast game. It'll be Blackman at Summit. Oakland will have their first home game here and take on Antioch this week. Riverdale at Germantown. So a nice road trip for the Warriors as they head to West Tennessee. Siegel goes to Coffee County, and they'll be dipping their toe in the region waters with their 3-0 record at Coffee County. And, boy, things have really gone southward for Coffee County. They lose their head coach one day, and the next day their starting quarterback out for the season. Smyrna versus Ravenwood. So Smyrna at home taking on the same Ravenwood team that Blackman played last night. Laverne goes to Page over in Williamson County. Eagleville at Collinwood. PCA at DCA, Donaldson Christian. And MTCS versus Clarksville Academy. So the Cougars at home at Throneberry Stadium. So that's the schedule for next week. I would like to remind you that, of course, we've got all of our coaches this morning. Riverdale at 8, 8:15 Smyrna, Blackman at 8:30, then Laverne, Oakland, Stewart's Creek, Rockvale. And then we will have Siegel, Eagleville, and MTCS here on the air this morning. MTCS Cougar Corner around 10:15. And later today, Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders and Alabama, 5 o'clock pregame, 6:30 for the kickoff with Chip Walters and Big Joe Dubin bringing you the action from Tuscaloosa. All right, we're going to take our first time out here. When we come back, we're talking Riverdale football. I'm going to have the first leg for you. Then John will step in to take you through Laverne, Oakland, Stewart's Creek, and Rockvale. And our friend Clark Blair will have the final 3 interviews this morning right here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. Stay with us.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
Craig's Tax Service is located just off Memorial on Heritage Park Drive. You can contact us at 890-2233.
It makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We are proud to support all Rutherford County student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coaches Show is brought to you by State Farm agents Andy Womack, Bud Morris, Dana Womack, Celeste Middleton, and Emerson Williams. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. It's time for us to talk some Riverdale football this morning, and Coach Will Kreisky joins us in studio and had a battle with the Beach Buccaneers last night. Final score 16-14, and boy, it's good to have an experienced kicker after last night's game, isn't it?
Yes, it really is, and that's what the coaches were talking about 3 or 4 years ago. We don't win that game because we don't have a kicker. We don't have a kicker that is efficient as Khalil Armand. When you got a kid like that, anytime you get it around the 35, you already start talking, field goal alert, and that's good to have. And he helped us, at times when we stalled out and got 9 points on the board for us, and then every one of his kickoffs were touchbacks. So that's huge, and that was really huge on the field position all night. The 2 times they did score, they scored. They started on the 29 yard line due to some penalties, and then the second time they scored, I think they were on like the 35, 38, somewhere around there. So they scored twice on short fields. So if we can get these teams to drive, we'll be all right. We got to clean up some penalties. I was upset at a few penalties again, but it was a testy environment. It was put our kids in adverse situations, and they had to grow and learn from it. And I don't think we get this win last night if we don't play Henry County. That's what I told our kids. I said, if we don't play Henry County, I don't know if we win. But you fought last week, learned last week from your mistakes, and you were able to finish this one off.
What was it about that Henry County game? I know that had to be just a gut-wrenching loss just by one, and I will say I saw the score 14-13 last night, and it's like, let's not let this happen again, and your guys kind of bowed up and didn't.
They did, and Beach had an opportunity. They got the ball with 4 minutes, and They ran the clock all the way down to 30 seconds. We got the ball back, and our defense bowed their necks and played really well. Beach had an opportunity to, and they had a real good field goal kicker. All they had to do is get in field goal range, and then they'd win by 17-16. But again, last 2 weeks have been really tough opponents. It's been really physical opponents. It's been physical battles for us. Both games are very similar. What they do, what Beach does, and Henry County are very similar teams. But again, it was we were able to test our kids physically and mentally, and fortunately this time we came out on the winning end. But like I said, it's what these kids need to grow. We got a lot of seniors playing this year, and they need to be tested early and battle tested early.
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead because we've got a lot to talk about last night's game, but your schedule doesn't get any easier with a road trip to Germantown next week either.
No, it doesn't. We got to get back on the bus and go 3.5-4 hours to Germantown and plan the whole day out. But again, you know, when you schedule these games, you want to find ways to get your team to grow. And I think getting on a bus and traveling and learning to play in a different environment is what this group needed.
Well, I did want to Armand's kicks were not just chip shots either last night too. So the game winner was a 26-yarder, I think.
Yes, and no, they were not chip shots at all. And he's got a strong leg. And, you know, we had some issues the week before on the extra point field goal unit, and we stressed it every day this week in practice. And that's what I'm really going to stress to these guys this next week in a meeting. When you focus on correcting your mistakes, good things happen on Friday night. And I was really proud of that unit and what Coach White did with that unit to get everything fixed.
Will Kreisky with us talking Riverdale football this morning. Victors last night over Beach, 16-14. Playing a TV game, extra timeouts, long pauses, does that interrupt the flow? I know it's got to be a lot different than a normal football game.
Yeah, it is. It is different. And like I said, you start at 7:08, and then you have immediately as soon as after the coin toss and getting ready for the first kickoff, there's a pause for a timeout. And even the officials, they're not with the flow because they don't do TV all the time. And at times they were confused of TV timeout. Was it not a TV timeout? And I think, fortunately, only one time we had an issue with time and running back on the field due to not being aware of the situation of a TV timeout and officials and some miscommunication. But again, I'm proud of the coaching staff and what Coach Barnes and Coach Rail did this week to get each side of the ball fixed. And I think Coach Pelchat and the special teams did a good job correcting those mistakes. We had one blunder on a punt team, which I did not call that fake punt. But again, a high school student made a high school mistake, and it's part of the growing process.
You know, I don't have an excuse, but I guess that's why we have haircuts like we do.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, I think I've aged a couple of years.
Oh, goodness. Well, you mentioned penalties earlier, and I do want to touch on that as well a little bit. You want to see those things get better each week, don't you? So are you doing that? Is that something you want to work on going into the Germantown game?
No, we still have to work on it. We get emotional at times. We got to calm down. We don't need to be the second guy to retaliate, or we don't need to say anything back, or, you know. And our guys got to learn, you know, emotionally they have to stay calm. If you want success against good football teams, you can't give them free 15-yard penalties. You know, some of them are questionable, but again, we can't put ourselves in those situations. We got to clean up the holding calls. Last few weeks, holding's got us behind the chains a few times when we make positive plays, and we got to fix that. You know, I think at halftime we had 5 penalties, 55 yards. That's too much, and Beach had 1 for 5 yards. So those penalties hurt us. Like I said, that first touchdown Beach had, we punt the ball from the inside of our 10. They catch it on a 50. Gibson Frost made an unbelievable play. Questionable. They said it was helmet to helmet. I don't know. You know.
So a targeting call?
Yes, a targeting call. He led with his shoulder. The guy caught the ball and took off running. But again, it was one of those collisions, and they're trying to keep the game safe, so they want to make sure they're doing the right call. But again, I thought it was a good football play. I was proud of the way those guys hustled on special teams all night.
You know, I've seen several, so that must be a point of emphasis, the targeting call this year.
Yes, it is. It is. And they talked about it at the rules meeting this summer, so we know it is, and we try to teach our guys to keep them safe. And again, they want to keep all these players safe.
Will, defensively last night to hold a potent offense to 14 points, 2 touchdowns, and it sounds like if your defense, or if they got the ball, somewhere around the 20-yard line, which happened a lot last night after all those touchbacks from Armand, you make them run the full gamut, that your defense kept them out of the end zone. It was their 2 scores were on a shortened field, didn't you say?
Yes, they were. And again, Traylon Davis is playing really well for us at linebacker, and JoJo Smith had a great game, and the defensive line up front's getting better. I think J.C. Haynes played a lot better. He's slowly coming back from his knee injury, and I think last night every week, if he keeps progressing, he's going to be a heck of a football player. And we got some guys still banged up. Ryan Edmiston didn't play a whole lot. He's been dealing with the ankle issue. Hopefully he'll get better this week. Brock Montgomery played a little bit last night, but you could still tell he was not at 100%. So those guys are getting better. But with that being said, we've had guys like Braylon Vanderbilt. Braylon Vanderbilt has stepped up huge for us this year at receiver and corner, and he's played really well, exceptionally well, kind of quiet leader, and doesn't say a whole lot, but he just goes out there and produces. And I've been proud of how Braylon's responded this year.
Well, obviously, when you got 2 big guns like Edmiston and Montgomery not playing, you've got to have others step up, and you're getting some pretty good play from other guys.
Like. and also Keyshawn Williams, had another great night. Unfortunately, had one of his touchdowns called back, and Jalen Thompson comes in, same thing, plays both sides of the ball, and it's helped us tremendously. And kind of another guy that nobody ever talks about is Ben Woodruff. Ben Woodruff makes a lot of plays, a lot of catches, and does a great job for us on the offensive side.
He's got good hands, doesn't he?
Yes, he is. You get it in his perimeter, he's gonna catch the ball. So I've been really proud of him also. And then DJ Taylor, another exceptional night running the football, and a phenomenal night playing defense. And that kid, like they had to carry him off the field. He was great. He gave it his all last night, and I was proud of him. Proud of how he responded to this week and things. And we got to clean up a little stuff up front offensively, and get some things communicated better on the sidelines. And that's things that I got to go in and fix with my staff and fix with the players. But these guys, the way they responded after a tough loss to Henry County, and they were really focused this week at practice, and that's what I have to stress to them. When you're focused like that all week, good things could happen, and that's what we got to do this week. We face Germantown.
You mentioned Keyshawn Williams, 9 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown last night, and we haven't touched on Braden Graham, but what a game, 220-plus yards, a touchdown, 26 of 44 passing, so he had a good game for you.
26 of 44. Coach Kelly Holcomb was going to be calling me mad. He said I'd never let him call that many pass plays. 45. I mean, that's
a lot. Isn't
it? I don't know. Well, I've been a head coach. We've never thrown it 44 times. So, but again, when you got somebody back there leading the offense, command, and him and Coach Barnes are on the same page, you have the opportunity to do things like that. So I'm proud of what they've done, and proud of what that offensive staff has done to get those guys progressing and moving, and again, they're going to go back to work. They're not satisfied. They want more than 16 points, and we want 7 instead of those 3s, and we just got to clean up some stuff, and if we can clean that stuff up, we'll be okay.
Well, I do know you'll probably at least get a text from Kelly, but
yeah.
Germantown. If you're unfamiliar, where's Germantown? You're going to Memphis, Shelby County, and it's kind of one of the suburbs, and they are looking pretty good, Coach. They are really in West Tennessee are predicted to be one of the top teams in the Memphis area.
Yeah, I think last week they were top 5, top 4 or 3 in 6A PO. They have a lot of 3-4 star players on their team. They had a kid out of Haywood, Haywood's best quarterback or best player transferred to them. And Coach Creasy called me last week and said, "I'm glad he's at Germantown and not at Haywood." So yeah, we got a really tough challenge, and it's gonna be tough. They got playmakers all over the field, and it's gonna be very difficult. It's gonna be again another hostile environment, another long trip for us. Unfortunately, these 2 home games that we've had, a lot of the gate money is going to travel expenses, and it's tough for a high school to pay for these trips. But again, we were looking for games, and they called and they wanted to play, so we decided to schedule. I know a few back in the day, Riverdale and Germantown kind of had a battle. I know Germantown beat them in the state finals, and they've kind of got some history, and I think it's good for us to get Germantown back on the schedule and schedule them and bring some of that rivalry back.
Will, congrats on the victory last night, and good luck on the road trip, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Will Kreisky joining us this morning on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Bowen's Body Shop. From dings and dents to full body work, trust Jeff and Kyle Bowen to do the job right on Middle Tennessee Boulevard.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here, and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
One Hot and Ready Classic. We actually changed it with...
What? You've changed, Little Caesars. You've changed! You've changed! Ah! Tell me why.
It tastes even better because we added 33% more pepperoni.
Give me one of those.
Little Caesars Pizza in Murfreesboro. 4 locations: Memorial Boulevard, South Rutherford Boulevard, Old Ford Parkway, and Warrior Drive.
Walk in and walk out with the new Hot and Ready Classic with 33% more pepperoni.
Pizza.
Parks Auction. We handle everything.
You have a staff that comes to your home. They tell you what to do. They walk you through it. It's been my experience that what I thought I should get for my home, I got much more for it.
Visit our website at parksauction.com.
Hi there, Parks Auction, 896-4600. Stan Vaught and the Parks Auction team are proud supporters of local high school and MTSU sports.
Sold it to you.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Coach's Show brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at CraigsTaxService.com. Matt Williams, the head coach of the Smyrna Bulldogs, joins us here this morning. Went to Siegel last night. Final score in that, Siegel 35, Smyrna 14. Coach Matt Williams, good morning to you, sir.
Morning, Brian. How are you?
Doing all right, Coach. Another tough game. I was just talking to Will Kreisky, and, Will's had a tough schedule. You've had a tough schedule to start the season here as well. And last night you went to Siegel on a pretty big night, and, it just kind of got tough for you there in the later first quarter, second quarter, didn't it?
Yeah, disappointment is probably not a good enough word. I was a little disappointed in how it turned out, but I really thought going in, we'd had a week of practice where it might translate in a little bit more successful night, but that didn't happen. I thought we started off the game obviously really good. Obviously start off driving down the field, and we got lucky. They had a big penalty. I know they were probably frustrated by it, and I get that. It's sort of a tough rule where a helmet comes off and the kid continues to play. It's 15-yard penalty that extended our drive, but to our kids' credit, we were able to drive down and get a score on that opening possession. I thought that started us off real positive. And then we go on defense, and they drive the ball down into our territory, but we force them into a field goal situation, and we line up in the neutral zone. I felt like that was sort of the start. That was a situation there where maybe we only give up 3, where we gave up 7. I thought that was sort of the start of the downhill slide. And I told our kids last night. I was probably as down last night and this morning when I woke up as I have been after any football game I've coached. And I had to sort of snap myself out of that this morning. I told the kids last night that frustration has killed more dreams and more successes in this world than anything else, any emotion that's ever happened. And there's been probably a lot of people who are on the verge of a big promotion or curing a disease or whatever it might be, that got frustrated and quit and never realized that dream. So we've got to fight that emotion and keep plugging and come back to work on Monday determined to get better.
And we've seen it happen with football teams, really any sport. You see it happen in life, and it's that's what we naturally want to do, is just, kind of kick the can, woe is me, and our Linus and Charlie Brown moments. But, there are ways to fix whatever needs to be fixed, and, you got another game to try to work toward that. So I'm sure those are some of the things you talk to your kids about.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we've got, I think our coaches are doing a good job. I think a lot of times we looked at the coach last night, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the stands that think, what in the world are they doing in practice? But I feel like we're emphasizing and doing a good job working on our weaknesses. And I thought this week in practice we switched a few things up and really made points of emphasis on the weaknesses we had, and worked on improving those. And, I said early in the year, and I said it in the spring, we really were going to have a few kids grow up, especially our junior class, grow up quickly. And some cases that's happening, and some cases really not. I think we've got a lot of kids who got to really take a look in the mirror as far as how invested am I in this football team, and am I ready to step up and be a contributor? And it's always going to be on me as a coach to fix that. And the bottom line last night, Siegel, I thought they coached better than us and they played better than us. So hats off to Siegel. And I don't want to make it sound like it's all us. They played really well. I was really impressed with their offensive football team. The quarterback's a really, really good player, and they got skill that can really hurt you. And I thought they ran the ball a lot better than I thought they would have against us last night, and that was a little disappointing. That's something we've got to get fixed. But hats off to them for how they played. As that game progressed, and you've already mentioned it this morning, but you got to stop the Siegel, kick team comes out, and that penalty is kind of the one of the underlying storylines. It seemed like when penalties happen for you, it was always very hard on you and a benefit to Siegel, if that makes sense. Did you kind of get that feel last night? That's one that really pops out, but there were a few others in the game. Yeah, I mean, we have a pinch hit for making the mistake at the wrong time and crucial times, and that's something we're trying to get fixed. And that's something we emphasized this week in practice. If we had any kind of false start or we jumped off sides, those penalties were addressed immediately. And those are things we're emphasizing. And, the bottom line is in football games, you got to have guys who rise to the occasion. You got to have coaches who rise to the occasion. I don't put it on the kids. I've got to do a better job, evidently. I think we're grinding about as hard as the coaching staff can, and but it all falls on my shoulders, and I got to evidently find the right buttons, and that's something I haven't done yet. But we're gonna figure it out when we get it right. We've just got to have guys that you got to rise to the occasion. We got to do that. And you get a situation where you get them in fourth down, they run the kick team on. You got to make sure you execute the kick block team. That's something we didn't do. We got to understand you can't line up in the neutral zone. I know, and I want to say this too. These kids aren't doing this stuff on purpose.
Right.
And I want to emphasize that too. These kids want to please, and I see the disappointment. I had seniors come to me this week just asking me, Coach, what can we do to fix this? And I told our team we've got leaders trying to lead, but we got to be leadable. We got some kids, especially in our junior class, that aren't they don't take leadership, and that's going to have to get fixed. And we'll do it as a coaching staff. We're going to find the right kids, the ones that want to buy in and do the things the way we want them done. They'll play, and the ones that don't won't. And that's just what we're going to have to get to. And I think we've got overall a really good group of kids, and I enjoy going to practice with them every day, and we'll keep doing that. And I know sometimes my fiance Kim last week told me I was really negative. I've got to try not to be that. Football coaches can be miserable human beings, especially we're competitors, and I hate losing as much as anybody, and that can come across as negativity sometimes. But we love these kids, and I've told them this, and I still mean it. I wouldn't trade them for anybody. And we're going to coach the ones we got, and we're going to coach them as hard as we can.
Matt Williams with us this morning, talking Smyrna football. So let me try to steer us in a positive direction as you talk about that. What I saw several times, if you did get penalized last night, it was just a kid trying to make a football play, and those are things you can fix. It's the penalties out of frustration or just not playing hard that are tough to take. So those are some things that you can work on and build on.
Yeah, and I think I said something about last week. There's a difference between an effort penalty and a selfish me penalty. And, we had one personal foul last night, but I don't think really the kid meant to meant anything by it. I think he was trying. I think he thought he saw the ball, get jostled loose in the pile, and he went in for it. And it's what we saw. And
well, that's a good example of that because you see the disappointment. I mean, you could tell in his body language walking off. It's like that's not what was meant here.
No, and it's fun. I mean, he's my nephew. Breck's our center, and I think he thought he saw it. That's what he said. I think so. We didn't have any selfish penalties out there for last night. I think, like you said, I think there were effort penalties, and we've got kids trying hard, and they do want to please. And I want them to know. I don't know how many listen to our radio show. I know a lot of parents do, but those kids are trying hard, and we don't. I tell them that we lose, it's on me, and I got to fix it. And I'll take all of it, and we'll go to work and we'll fix it. And I know those kids want to please us, and I'm still proud of those kids. Last night at times was hard to take, it's hard to watch, and I know they didn't enjoy being a part of that. But I do want to emphasize, something I was very proud of. Another positive, late in the game. Seagull's up 21. It's under 10 minutes. They're trying to punch another touchdown in.
Yep.
We've got our young kids. You got kids like Brian Richard, who's a senior transfer. He came from Canada, out there getting some playing time. You got Jalen Clemens, a defensive end that doesn't get much playing time. That's got great energy and just a fun kid to be around. Luke Wolf's a wonderful young man, a senior that does not get to play very much. Was out there playing really hard. Brody Hines, a sophomore, that came off the field after we stopped him on the goal line stand, just pumped, And you got to take those little positives like that. We had kids. The one thing I'll say, I don't think you can ever say a smart team gives up and turns their stuff in. We fought, I felt like, to the end, and I was proud of those young kids for that. And that's something you can build on. I think you always got to look at what can we build on here, and I think that enthusiasm of those kids that don't get a lot of recognition or notoriety to get out there and get a chance to play, that was encouraging to see.
Your quarterback, Austin Morris, 13 of 20, 128 yards and a touchdown. DJ Barksdale had over 100 yards with 25 carries and a touchdown last night as well. And on the defensive side of the ball, Tucker Moore, he had a phenomenal night.
Yeah, I thought, Austin, did some good things. Got some things we got to fix, obviously. I think he made a couple mistakes. We had Hitch call one time down in the red zone and, ended up making a mistake we can't make, throwing the ball to the other team for a pick six. But that was just an example. I think we're getting a situation like that. We just got to come back to our core principles of doing what we're coached to do. But, I was proud to see him have some success last night. DJ's been a kid that, I guess he's at 100 yards the last 2 weeks, over 100 yards the last 2 weeks. He runs really hard. And I felt like he had a lot of tough yards. We started off the game, I felt like blocking him really well, and they made an adjustment. We didn't adjust very well because we didn't block him that great after that. But he's a kid who gives everything he's got on every play, and I was proud of him. And, Tucker, I thought, did a pretty good job at times. And, like you said, had quite a few tackles. We got a few things, obviously, defensively got to get fixed. And I know Coach Dellareal was frustrated last night, and as we all were on the defensive side of the ball. We just got to get back to our core principles. We had a lot of, it comes back on defense. We had a lot of guys trying to do another guy's job, I think, and that got us in trouble a lot of times. We had times when Coach Dellareal called a blitz right into what they had, and we were, supposed to be on the quarterback and we're chasing the running back. And obviously, in option football, that can get you in trouble real quick. So we've got to get better at playing option football, and whether it be the zone read or whatever kind of option it is. And I feel like we'll do that. But, yeah, those three kids obviously had pretty good nights, and we're good for them.
Coach, Ravenwood is the next opponent, and you'll be at home for that game. But Ravenwood played Blackman last night, and it was a back-and-forth game. You're going to get the Raptors' best effort, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Will does a good job, and they're going to have kids, We've got to execute. That's something we've not been great at as far as, we've got to make sure we execute what we're asked to do. We came out of a timeout last night, had a fourth down, and, we called the formation in the huddle and ran right out of the timeout huddle and ran up in the wrong formation. So those are things we've got to somehow get fixed. Ravenwood's going to have smart kids that execute well, and I haven't seen a whole lot on them, but I know they'll be well coached. I know they'll execute well, and they'll have kids that do what they're coached to do, and they'll be in the spot they're told to be in. And we've got to be good about doing the same thing.
Matt, appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, and I'm sure it'll be nice to be in front of the home crowd next Friday night, and we'll catch you next Saturday morning, sir.
All right. Good talking to you, Mike.
All right, good talking to you. Matt Williams, the head coach of the Smyrna Bulldogs, joining us this morning. The Coach's Show brought to you by Dr. Automotive, the cure for your car, professional auto repair and maintenance from ASE certified mechanics and master mechanics. Check them out online at autorepairsmyrna.com.
You've heard people say, you know your work by your name, but there's no better name for residential and business concrete work than Dan France Concrete. From basic slabs to decorative stamping, for your next concrete project, call Dan France Concrete, 615-642-5152.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Trust me, Dan is committed to the community and will offer you a great product. He'll stand behind his work and make sure you're satisfied with every aspect of the work. Dan France Concrete.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
I want expert advice on going 100% solar.
I want to go green without breaking the bank.
I want to meet my sustainability goals.
I want solar to be simple.
Done, 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 done.
I want to save the planet.
Little hero, let's start with one of MTE's solar programs first. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. What are some of the advantages that Carpets by Osborne has?
Being a family business and being locally owned and operated, we do free estimates. We have our own subcontractors that work for our business. We will come out, look at your floor covering. Throughout the whole process, you deal with an individual. You're not passed off to different contractors. We handle it from start to finish.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
The Coach's Show is brought to you by Little Caesars Pizza with 4 Murfreesboro locations: Memorial Boulevard, Warrior Drive, South Rutherford Boulevard, and Old Fort Parkway. Get hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars. Time to talk some Blackman football. Brian Barrett joined by Matt Kreisky, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. And, Coach, if you know, when we're broadcasting another game, we're getting all kinds of information on all these other games that are going on. And I was very intrigued by what was happening at your place, because it was back and forth, wasn't it?
Yes, all night it was back and forth. You know, you can see from week one to now how much improved our guys have been. You know, biggest thing we talked about going into this week, and let's don't put ourselves in a hole. They didn't. They came out, played better. You know, Ravenwood's a really good football team, well-coached football team by Coach Hester. I thought our kids fought for 4 quarters and never gave up. That's what we ask. Told them last night before we left, you know, good things are going to happen. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep coming in each and every week to get better. We are a good football team. We just haven't caught the right breaks at the right time. Made a mistake here or there that really hurt us. You can't do those things against a really good football team like Ravenwood.
You know, and to that point, when you are, I mean, everything's different, right? So, I mean, and these kids, sometimes it's hard to overcome a penalty, you know, in week 2 or 3, but by week 4 or 5, maybe you are able to overcome sometime, or don't even have that penalty. Those are the growth markers, I guess, you're looking for.
Yes, and we've seen some growth since week 1.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you know, you get a penalty, put you back at, you know, 1st and 15, you know, so you can't climb out of a hole already, and then, you know, if you get a yard or 2 on 2nd down, you're still in a big hole, what you're not used to. We're not that team yet where we need to be put behind the chains early. You know, we need every advantage that we can get. So a holding penalty, an offsides penalty, things like that. You know, we've gotten better at it, but we're not where we can just overcome those. I thought we did times we did last night, but we had some penalties late that kind of hurt us. But, you know, that's part of the game. We're still learning. We're still growing. these kids are, again, they're fighting. That's what we always ask.
Matt, what kind of give me the top 2 or 3 things that you've seen the largest improvement from week 1 to now in your team?
Just over, I think our execution offensively is better. We saw it last night. I thought Carter Gregory did a great job responding from week 2 to week 3. Just how he led the team, and things didn't go great at times, but he was still taking charge, getting things done for us. You see our offensive team, our group, just becoming a true unit. Not one mistake, just really just kills us. We're starting to able where we can overcome some mistakes. Not all of them yet, but just some of them. So the growth in that area, and our defensively, we're not making as big as mistakes in the secondary that we did early on. There's some young guys back there. We got 2 sophomores, Jaden Lark and Tally, are playing, and it's you've said they've made mistakes here or there, but they're growing. So it's fun to watch. So we just got to keep getting better each week. We've got a big game this week. So against another team that I'm familiar with. So I know these guys are going to come in Monday ready to work and ready to get better.
Youth, your youth is kind of unique because you've got some upperclassmen who just haven't had the experience, the on-field experience in a varsity game under the big lights on a Friday night, and win, lose, draw, whatever. It has to be fun to see some of those kids grow each week, and I always envision that light bulb over the head. It's like that clicks. When it finally clicks, it's like this is why you do what you do.
Yeah, and you're starting to see it. We're starting to see it out of some of the guys. This morning I was watching film. I think Jaden Lark he's played safety for us. He has really improved. So the things that the growth in these guys. We had Isaiah Molina. I thought he played a heck of a game under certain circumstances. I'm proud of those kids. I tell them every day, let's be a gritty football team, and I'm starting to really see that they're buying into that. Let's fight, let's scratch, let's claw, let's do whatever we can each play. And when Ravenwood walked off the field, they knew they played a tough Blackman football team.
Matt Kreisky's joining us this morning. He's the head coach of the Blackman Blaze. Familiarity with Will at Ravenwood, and you've got Summit. These are teams that you've played. Does that help you at all? It's not like you're going into something brand new, or does that really not make that big of a difference?
Well, it's kind of funny. You look at it. I come here, I thought I was getting away from some of those guys. First 3 games, we're playing. The first 4 games, I'm playing 3 out of the 4 teams that I've been playing for the past 7 years. I know them, they know me. They know what to expect. So we kind of, just like whenever I was talking to Coach Finch before we played Brentwood, he goes, well, we don't have to swap too much film because I know what you're going to do. You know what I'm going to do. They know my style. I know what they're trying to do. So yeah, we're familiar. But they're all 3 great guys. Great. I want to coach against guys like that. They're well coached teams. And like I told the kids, these types of teams are making us better. We could play a team that we know we're going to beat 35-0 or whatever. That's not getting us better. These first 4 games are getting us better. As of right now, they have no bearing on the playoffs. We take care of business in the region. Our goal all year has been to get the 11th game. Okay, so we're growing through these first 4 games, non-region games, and I think it'll help us prepare us for these region games.
And that's a great point because we've seen just about everybody in this league, and I don't want to jump too far ahead on that, but it's going to be a very interesting race this year in the region, I think.
I think so too. We keep getting better. We keep doing the things that we're asking kids to do. They're buying. I think we'll be right there in the mix with everybody else. I think these kids are gaining valuable experience each Friday night. You could tell they're feeling a little bit more comfortable as we went on the field this past Friday than the previous 2 Fridays. So I'm hoping that this continues to grow. So week 5, 6, 7, so forth, that they're feeling really good, comfortable going out there, feeling comfortable about the game plan offensively and defensively, what we're trying to do.
Matt, it was seeing those scores when I finally found who I needed to on Twitter to get those scores last night. It was, you score, they score, you score.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I saw 21-21, 28-28. So it was just really one of those games. It almost felt like it was going to be he who had the ball last.
Yeah. That's basically what it came down to. I got to give a shout out to Caden Perkins. He had a great game last night, man. That kid is tough. He's a fighter. He's doing everything. What I want everyone else to do. I want him to fight, claw, scratch. Like I said, do those things. Give us a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. And it, like you said, it was going back and forth the entire game. It was who's going to make a mistake to help the other team out. And unfortunately it was us. But again, we're gonna grow and learn from this. So when we're in a region game, something like this won't happen.
You mentioned Caden, 27 carries, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a long one of about 40 yards, I believe. And that seems to be like a kid that you really want to lock arms with and go to war on the front lines. Yes,
and he does a great job. The way that he plays is the way he practices. The way he carries the ball in practice, the way he carries it in the game. We scream and holler game reps. He does that each day, and it carries over to Friday night. So if we continue to get others to get game reps like that in practice, it'll carry over, and they'll have just as much success as Caden. But Caden is a great leader. He may not be very vocal, but he's gonna do it by what he does on the field, by each rep he does in practice, and you saw it. 161 yards, man. He's a fighter.
Jabari Kemp didn't have a lot of yards, but he was very efficient when he did get the ball last night. Yeah,
Jabari's he's a sophomore. He got thrown in the fire early. We were hoping and planning this year we're going to use him and let him grow and mature through JV, but that's not the case. But he's embraced his role. He's done a great job. The future's bright for him, and Caden coaches him up, and then that's what's neat to see. So here in the next 2 years after Caden graduates, it's going to be fun to watch Jabari.
Yeah. Well, turning the page to the next opponent, Coach, and man, I tell you what, we've already kind of touched on it. Doesn't get much easier, and a road trip to Summit, and Summit's one of those teams that has built a good tradition. And then 2 years ago they were in the state title game, I think. Yeah. I coached with Coach Coleman whenever we were at Chapel Hill, so we're really familiar with each other. He does a great job. He'll base out of a 3-4 defensively. He doesn't look like it, but his philosophy as an offense is wing T base. Those things we'll have to be ready to stop those offensively and defensively. They're going to be well coached. They're going to be physical point of attack. So we've got to match their physicality on Friday night, and we got to limit our mistakes and be able to execute offensively and defensively. It's the last. I don't want to call it dress rehearsal, but it's the last one before those big games that are very important in terms of making a Week 11 appearance. That's right. It's going to be some exciting times here in Rutherford County these next couple of weeks. Coach, appreciate you spending some time with us this morning, and always a great spokesman for the Blackman Blaze, and good luck at Summit, and we'll see you next week. Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, Matt Kreisky joining us this morning, the head coach of the Blackman Blaze on the Coach's Show, brought to you by Parks Auction Company. Let their team of experienced professionals, trained professionals, utilize that auction process to sell your property. Find out more at parksauction.com.
The Blue Raider fan source for officially licensed Middle Tennessee gear is Raider Tees. T-shirts, caps, sweats in all sizes, designs, colors, children's to plus sizes. Raider Tees has decals and license plates to show everyone your favorite team. Plus, check out their wide selection of Blue Raider art, jewelry, even golf tee markers. Show your Blue Raider pride with the largest selection of Blue Raider merchandise anywhere by shopping Raider Tees, 910 Ridgely Road, just before the bridge over Broad behind Chewy's.
Pizza.
You can now order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com. We've made ordering online a breeze. From sirpizzatn.com, tap on the location nearest you and begin your order for carryout or delivery. You can order the Royal Feast, create your own, spaghetti, calzones, everything right from our online portal at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Craig's Tax Service.
We perform tax preparation, individual tax returns, corporations, partnerships, and all your payroll bookkeeping needs.
Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service.
We fulfill all your tax preparation needs from individual returns to corporations and handle any of those scary letters you may get from the IRS.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
Franklin's Printworks has been in Murfreesboro for over 25 years. We are a full-service commercial printer, everything from business cards, brochures, booklets to banners. My name is Jeff Carlton. I handle sales and marketing for Franklin's Printworks. We hear a lot people who have been working with printers on the internet had issues, and they know that if we're working with someone local, that A, they know where to find us, and B, they know that we'll take care of it because we have to take care of our neighbors. Our website is franklinsprinting.org.
Winners Trophies can help you with customized awards for any occasion. Owner Kelly Hockenberry continues to provide awards for sports teams, churches, recognition awards, and more. Call Winners Trophies at 904-6002. That's 904-6002 for the best in quality, service, and pricing. You can also email Kelly, winnerstrophy@comcast.net. That's winnerstrophy@comcast.net. Any award for any occasion. Winners Trophies, 904-6002.
We're catching up with Anne-Marie Brents at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, another one of our great local businesses.
Yeah, it's a big family business. Knowing that my grandparents started it, to see it evolve and what it is now, it's just been really cool and I love it. It's just something I'm very passionate about, and customers have been great to us as well.
Whether it's a quick meal, feeding the whole family, or catering, Rick's Barbecue can handle it all.
It's really something I'm really passionate about, very blessed and thankful for.
Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose. You do anything to protect your kids. I'm State Farm Agent Emerson Williams, and it's important to protect them with life insurance. I can make it easy and affordable for you to protect your family.
Every team knows which play can be a winning move. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Womack, here to help life go right by combining your home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850. It's a winning move that saves you time and money.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coaches Show brought to you by Dan France Concrete, a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. That's Dan France Concrete. John Dinkins here with you, and we've got Coach Mike Woodard, the head coach of the Laverne Wolverines, with us on the program this morning. And Coach, I'm sitting there at your game. We had trouble getting your scores last night, but this Wilson Central team, from what all I'd read, pretty good running game. And did they show that last night?
Yeah, they did. Very diverse in what they do, using a lot of different personnel groups. I was really, really proud of our guys defensively on how we handled their heavy set. They like to go a lot of, jumbo with extra offensive linemen, and they had added several shifts and motions to that last night. But, we played really well against that package, and after a few series, they stopped using that and kind of went with their base personnel. And, I thought really compared to, how they done earlier in the year, we held up at times really well. couple coverage busts, right, and one really hurt us right towards the end of the half. I mean, it's a one-score game, and we've got a coverage that we've run, since spring ball, and 3 guys run it incorrectly. They get a touchdown to go up 2 scores going into half, which really hurt. So, I mean, it was one of those deals in the first half where, we can look at all the snaps and say that 85% of the time we were doing things right, but that 15% where we didn't really hurt.
It always seems to affect teams when something bad happens right before half. And I know going in, being down from 1 score going into the third to be 2 scores down, how do you overcome that at halftime talking to the guys? Because I know that can be difficult sometimes.
It's difficult. We're fortunate that we got guys who stick together. And let's be honest, after last week, I mean, it was a really tough week, and I was really proud of our kids. They didn't let all the outside noise get to them. They came, and we had a really good week of preparation, getting ready for this one, and we came in at half. And, yeah, we were irritated, I guess I would say, defensively about that last score. But we fixed it. We came out third quarter, stoned them, then, kept them out of the end zone. Offense got moving, got it back to a one-score game. And then, they scored one late where we were, it was late in the game. It was like 4 or 5 minutes left. And we just, went all out and they creased us on it and scored that last score to make it a 2-possession game again.
I know you were glad to see a little more offense last night and coming out in that second half and getting that drive and scoring. Those are good things and things that you can build on, aren't they?
It is, and I told Dominic Jones, our QB, coming in at half, that first half I thought he played the best football he had played up until this point. We had some balance between run and pass. He was throwing the ball confidently. He was making the right reads. We would like to have completed more of them, but as far as him learning the position, thought he really played well in that first half, and then the second half, we come out and we score and we get it to a 1-possession game, and unfortunately we just weren't able to finish it.
Talking to Mike Woodard, the head coach of the Laverne Wolverines here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. And Mike, when you sit there and you evaluate the 3 games, is it a mixed bag for you right now? I mean, is it you see good things at times and sporadic, I guess would be the word.
Sporadic is good, and I'm also going to say that last week I'm going to treat that as kind of an anomaly also.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at how we played week 1 and then week 3, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, there are things, of course, we need to get better at, but, we knew this going in because of the amount of inexperience we had coming in. We knew there was going to be some bumps and bruises early. We just got to keep, focusing on things and having points of emphasis each week to get better at. And, the seniors, I stayed and met with the seniors on the field last night after the game was over. And then several of them messaged me again last night. So we're in, we're good. We know players, coaches, we've only got to get better. And, Monday's a holiday, but not for us. We'll come in Monday morning and get right back to work again, working on getting better.
I know you got Page. We'll talk about them in a minute, but this is what non-district's for too, isn't it? I mean, to kind of see where you're at and kind of build for when you get into the region. And, I know the Siegel game, you look back at that and really anomaly is probably the right word for that because but Siegel put 35 on Smyrna last night. So, we looking back, you go, well, maybe readjust your thinking a little bit there. But a solid performance last night, and these guys, from what I can tell, and the thing that you like about them the most is they don't quit and they don't give up.
No, they're in it together. There's no selfishness, and again, no finger pointing. It's get better. We understand that region starts in 2 weeks, and it's not that these non-region games are unimportant because they are important. They could be tiebreakers down the road, but of course the region games are what's, the most important for us. So, we've got a very, very tough opponent this coming week in Page. And we're going to do everything we can to win it, but we also know that we've got things we need to fix for ourselves first and just be in a position to where each week we can say, we're playing better football because we're about to hit a big run of region games.
And it's a cliche too, Coach. But when you sit there and go, you got to focus on yourselves. But in your case, it really is that, isn't it? I mean, there are those moments. You talk about the 85% where things are, where they should be. It's the 15% you got to clean up, right?
It is, and it's real easy. And that was part of the mistake I felt like I made 2 weeks ago. Is it's real easy. Especially defensively, to say, again, we want to do this against this set. We want to do this against this set. Next thing you know, you've got 10 or 12 different things you're trying to do instead of just staying with things the kids know and the kids are comfortable doing and just telling them how to play it to, each of those different sets or each of those different looks. So we just, we got to be more disciplined as coaches, keeping the calls simpler and getting the guys to be able to, read the keys they're supposed to read every single down. Play with the right leverage and get there. And the effort's been great. Like I said, it's just, a couple coverage busts. And on that side of the ball, man, I mean, one mistake is 6. If you make a mistake offensively, 1st and 10 may become 2nd and 12. But you make a mistake defensively, and it's 7 points.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Page. They're your next opponent next week.
Well, I mean, they've been to the state championship game in 5A, 2 years in a row now.
Right.
So, Coach Rathbone does a heck of a job over there. And, they're going to be a physical team up front. Offensively, they're very diverse. You talk about balance. They're going to be able to run. They're going to be able to throw. They're going to be able to give us a lot of different, I would anticipate, shifts and motions to try to get us confused and out of position. So, again, it's just going to be very important to us to just drill in where we want to be and where our eyes need to be. And that was one thing, again, from last night that I do feel good about is Wilson Central early on gave us a bunch of stuff like that and didn't phase us one bit. So, that part we can build off of. And but just be ready for a really big challenge against Page. The guys should be excited. You're going out against a top team in the mid-state. And, we got nothing to lose, so let's have a great week and go over there and see what happens.
And I guess, too, when you've got a younger group and you're trying to figure things out a little bit, you can overthink things, too, can't you? I mean, they if you just stay within yourselves a little bit, sometimes that's probably the best policy, isn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, we all get on the board, and that's part of the great thing of coaching is getting on the board and drawing things and looking at things you can do and how to outwit or outmatch the guy across from you. But again, it's all about what you can get the guys to do on the field. It's not what looks good on the board. So, I mean, it's just getting our guys comfortable, having them believe in each other, believe in us, and go out there and be physical and keep playing hard and just believe that we're going to start getting some breaks to go our way and get this turned around. And
we talk about breaks going your way. That's takeaways and those kind of things. That's such a huge factor in wins and losses. And I would think that win or lose, you want to win next week. Win or lose, however, if you can just clean up a little bit of the game for you guys, and that's what you're looking at. Even I know you want to win, but also look at things that can show improvement because you got your region schedule coming up.
Oh yeah, we're going in there to win. We want to see, we want to get better in all 3 phases. And one thing we did have some positive special teams wise. Talk about breaks. Our punt team got a huge break for us. Dre Sims was back there punting, and, we go down and we get a turnover inside the 10 that turned into points for us to get within a score. And then late in the game, he did a great job and punted it down inside the 10. And, we had him pinned deep. And, unfortunately, in that one series, they converted a 3rd and 1, a 4th and 1 by the length of the football, another 3rd and 1. And then, that's what ended up being their final touchdown. So, I mean, we had a chance to pin them deep and get the ball back and just weren't able to finish it.
Well, Coach, good luck next week against Page. And Wolverines are, I think, geared for good things ahead. And we hope to talk to you with a win next week.
All right, that sounds good. Thanks, John.
All right, that's Mike Woodard, the head coach of Laverne Wolverines. When we come back, we're talking Oakland football with Coach Kevin Creasy as we continue. And this portion of the show has been brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com. We'll be back.
It's Brian. I want to tell you why I absolutely love First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. As soon as you go in or pull up to the drive-thru, there's always a "Hi, what can I do for you?" I've been seeing the same faces for many, many years, and that says something about them. At First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, it's more than banking. It's about people. I guarantee you'll feel the same way. If you're not getting that from your bank, come on over with me to First National Bank of Middle Tennessee on Gateway and Memorial Boulevards. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
How about a fix for your sweet tooth? Donut Country is open 24 hours a day to cure your cravings. They've been serving up the freshest donuts in Murfreesboro since 1978. There's just something different about donuts from Donut Country. Bo and Cindy Davis and their wonderful staff will greet you with a smile, and you'll see all donuts aren't created equal. Fresh donuts anytime you want them, 24/7 at Donut Country on Memorial down from Clark. And they're open each morning on Middle Tennessee Boulevard. Check out their Facebook page for specials and promotions. Nothing else compares to Donut Country. Open 24 hours.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
Hi, this is John Day of the Law Offices of John Day. For more than 30 years, my team and I have worked hard to help injured people throughout Middle Tennessee. Over that time, we've helped thousands of people get the legal help they need when they've needed it the most. And if we're not able to help or aren't the right lawyer for you, we'll do the best to point you in the right direction. If you've been injured, call the Law Offices of John Day for a free consultation. And remember, there's no fee unless we win your case.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coaches Show is brought to you by Carpets by Osborne, who would love to help you complete any job, whether residential or commercial. Carpet, tile, hardwood, vinyl, rugs, and more. Locally owned, online at carpetsbyosborne.com. John Ding is back with you, and we have Coach Kevin Creasy all dressed up in blue. I love the color, especially the hat. The red and that blue just seem to go together.
That's right. It does. It does. We need to get you a hat.
I'm gonna have to do that. You give me a hat, I'll sure wear it. That thing, it's pretty. Coach, a lot of. Last week with the loss and having to come back and go on the road again for like a 4-hour drive. It's not that much. Indiana wasn't that much further, was it?
No, the Indiana trip was actually probably an easier drive, right up 65. But, our guys need to get used to long road trips and playing in a hostile environment. And that's why we schedule these games. And the good thing about Haywood is they're going to, return the favor next year, and they're going to take the long trip to pay us back. The Indiana game was only a 1-year deal, so we're still looking for a 10th game next year. So that's how that happens.
Yeah, and you've had to battle that for about the last 6, haven't you?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yep.
Big comeback win last night in terms of reversing fortune here, and make no mistake about it, Indiana was a really good ball club. I mean, I don't think people understand how good they were and that kind of thing. And you had some injuries. And from what I don't want to talk, I know you talked about it last week, but I'm still on it. There's some calls and some things that didn't quite go your way, and that's all part of it, I guess.
Yeah, that happens on the road sometimes. But you look at Center Grove; they beat one of the best teams in Kentucky by 30 last night. So. They're definitely not just chopped liver. They're a legit football team, one of the top in the round. And, like I said, they beat Trinity out of Kentucky last night pretty handily.
talk about Haywood. You've played them before. This is a good little series, really, that you've kind of come across, and like they're going to be back at your place next year. But let's talk about rebounding. How from the loss in Indiana to this game tonight, last night. You had to be pleased that they bounced back and came back and really early established things early in the game.
Yeah, our guys handled the trip well and handled practice all week well. I thought they responded well in practice. Had a huge film session in which normally offense doesn't watch much defense, and defense doesn't watch much offense, but we put some notes on the film and shared it with everybody. That way everyone knew what was going on both sides of the ball, and made each other a little more accountable. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing about last night is some of the guys that got called out on film, were the same ones making plays last night. So obviously the ones that still can't do it, we're going to replace, and the ones that, were disappointed in their play at Center Grove got a whole lot better last night.
And good to hear. And I know Dwayne Morris led 7 carries, 143 yards. I know you're happy with that performance. 2 receptions as well. Kind of a guy that once he catches the ball, he can do something with it, isn't it?
Yeah. He's he's definitely special. Does some things that you really can't coach. He does a lot of things on his own, and has great vision, great moves, all that stuff. So he had a great night with, I think, 5 touchdowns. And then, of course, the guys up front blocked for him. The holes opened up by the offensive line last night were a whole lot bigger than they were the week before.
48-6 winners. Excuse me. 48-6 winners last night. We're talking to Coach Kevin Creasy of the Oakland Patriots. Ashton Jones, 166 yards on the ground, and I know 2 touchdowns. Boy, once you get going, it just seems like everybody kind of gets into it. And Coach, when you talk about offensive line, that's where it starts. I mean, that offensive line, they do the job. You're going to find those holes.
Yeah, it starts up front, definitely. And I think a lot of our guys, took it to heart that a lot of it was their fault. It felt like a lot of it was guys missing assignments or guys not staying with blocks, not finishing blocks. And, they had a tough week at practice. And then, of course, they come back and bounce back and do really well against a very talented defense on the other side of the ball at Haywood last night.
And Caleb Ellison, 12 tackles and a sack, kind of lead the defense, which I thought they rebounded very well too last night.
Yeah, defense, would have had a shutout, gave up a 4th down. I think it was like a 70-yard touchdown on 4th down. At that point, Haywood was kind of in desperation mode. They're down 21 points and going for it on their own 30. So give them credit for, letting a kid make a play. And, besides that, I thought our defense did really good. To start the game, they hit us on a long pass and had a couple long kickoff returns. And all 3 of those times our defense did stop them on 4th down, in our red zone. So it was pretty impressive that our defense held their own. And like I said, still don't want to give up that one long, cheap one. Definitely got some room for improvement. But, like I said, we've played these kind of games just to kind of get some of these guys exposed. They don't see this kind of athlete a lot of times in practice with the scout team. So, the kid that catches the long pass on us, he's got a Mississippi State offer. The kid that returns the kickoff, about 65 yards, he's got a TCU offer. So, these guys are legitimate players, and it's good to see our guys go up against good competition.
Well, you had a injury last week, of course, to the other Creasy, and looking for a replacement there. And Patrick Freeman was 5 of 7 for 178 yards. I don't know how you went into the game plan. Probably didn't ask him to do a whole lot, but he was effective when he did have to.
Yeah, real proud of Patrick and the way he performed. Had some good protection. I think that's what it starts with in the pass game as well. We talk about the offensive line and the run game, but it's huge to keep the quarterback's jersey clean. And, I don't think he got knocked down one time last night. And then, of course, he's got some wide open guys that he's making throws to. But Patrick's always been in the mix on offense. Even before our injury to our other quarterback, he got every other rep in practice. That's just how we do it, and that's what benefits our guys the most is even when we bring freshmen up, they get in the mix, and the quarterbacks are always going to rotate every play, and so he's used to running our offense. And, like I said, some people just have to fold and throw their cards in whenever their first quarterback gets hurt, but that's not something that happens around here very often. I look back and I was like, man, I've never had a quarterback get hurt. But in case they ever do, we always have the second guy get just as many reps as the first guy. So I think that's big, and I think it benefited Patrick. He was really comfortable with the plays last night.
We've talked about this. You and I have talked about it, I know, several times about how you get kids into games. And I know a lot of times it's been running clock. But you really pride yourself, and this is a case where that's paid off. And always maybe let the quarterback run a snap or two, even if in a close game. And that's kind of been your mojo, really.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've had a couple of JV games that have been canceled. One got postponed. So Patrick hadn't really got a lot of work since our scrimmages. Our JV schedule's definitely been altered. But with that being said, he gets plenty of work in practice, and he's done a really good job of going in there and earning our guys' respect and doing a good job of making plays on Friday.
Is it fair to say that your offense is built where I don't mean anybody can run it, but it's designed where it takes some pressure off as long as you know where the ball's supposed to go and you manage the team, manage the offense. You don't have to be the hero every time.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's one of those deals where the offense can manage, with a big-time quarterback or a guy that is just a good high school football player. I think it's one of those deals where you don't have to depend on a transfer quarterback to come in every year or so.
And you've had that in the years past. You've had, those different types. I mean, you've managed all of them.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You look around and, some of these teams have really talented quarterbacks, and then you wonder if that guy goes down, what's the next guy look like? Are they just going to have to reinvent themselves, or, there's a big step off between talent between 1 and 2. But with ours, I think you can plug a guy in as long as he understands the whole playbook, and, that's kind of what Patrick's done.
Okay, let's talk about, we're going to move into the next phase here. We're going to have Antioch, and then we're getting pretty close to region time. That game preparation for them, I know Antioch struggled over the past few years, but, boy, you can't take anybody for granted, and they're going to come to play.
Yeah, their win over Cane Ridge definitely got our attention. We scrimmage Cane Ridge every year and had a battle with them, the last week of July. And so we had a real close game, as far as a scrimmage with them. And then you look at Antioch, who's supposed to be rebuilding and got a brand new coach, and all of a sudden their rival game is with Cane Ridge and they win it. So that's definitely got our attention. Glad to be at home, but we understand that, Antioch's going to come in and give us their best shot.
I'm looking over all the games that have been played so far in our region, and just your thoughts on it. I don't really know any more than I did when the season started. I think Blackman's really improving, and they're playing better, and you've got Siegel, who's off to a great start, and then you've got Rockville, who's had a little trouble offensively at times, but they're going to be tough. I mean, it's loaded, and Riverdale, you just go on and on.
Yeah, I think there's more parity, I guess, this year than in years past, and I think that's what makes it for an exciting year, especially for the fans. I think it's one of those deals where it's going to be close games every single Friday.
Well, I know you got in late last night, and I'm going to offer this to you. We do a morning show every morning, 6 to 8. I want you one morning before you go into school, we can come in. You just join us and be the third guy. How's that?
Okay? That sounds good.
I know you've got experience in non-football radio.
That's right. That's right.
So Truman spoke highly of you, so I'm going to throw that offer out there to you, and we'll get together sometime and talk about some details on that.
That's what we'll do. Sounds good to me.
But you know what's going to happen if I do that, then every coach is going to want to go, come on. So, but anyway, Coach, as always, it's a pleasure. I do appreciate you coming in this morning, and good luck next week against Antioch.
All right, appreciate it.
All right, that's Coach Kevin Creasy, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. When we return, we're going to talk Stewart's Creek football. But first, I've got to tell you that this portion of the show is brought to you by Rick's Barbecue, serving up the most or the best smoked barbecue, ribs, and many local favorites on Warrior Drive, locally operated by Anne Marie Brents and the Lanning family. We'll be back with Stewart's Creek.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
I'm Ian Young. I'm at Las Casas Feed Supply. I'm selling beef and pork, 100% Angus, raised here in Las Casas. Come get you some.
Everyone's favorite cuts available, even options to purchase a quarter of a steer.
We got the beef. Hello, everybody. Las Casas Feed Supply.
Family owned and operated, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East.
If you're near retirement or thinking about retiring, you probably have a lot of questions. How do you make your savings last? You're ready for retirement, but are your finances? Let's work together to help ensure your finances can keep up with your unique needs over the long haul. I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin. Stop by our office in the Public Shopping Center on South Rutherford Boulevard or give us a call at 615-907-7056 for an appointment. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
If your old unit needs a tune-up, the professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air service all major brands and even offer same-day service in most cases. Keep your home or business comfortable year-round. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Ring Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass. Online at PrenticeAllsup.com.
Head over to J. Mullins Jewelry to check out their selection of rings, watches, custom design jewelry, and much more. They're a local business located at 352 West Northville Boulevard right here in Murfreesboro. They have gifts for all occasions, weddings, graduations, anniversaries, whatever you need, you can find it at J. Mullins Jewelry. That's at 352 West Northville Boulevard or online at mullinsjewelry.com.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brett Craig with Craig's Tax Service. From personal tax preparation to business bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes, at Craig's Tax Service, our staff is here to help.
Get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
As a former Siegel Star football player, I know the importance of the high school sports experience. Good luck to all county student athletes.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
And this portion of the Coaches Show brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to the First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services. John Dingan's back with you. I'm still here. That's right. The third of 4 interviews today. And Coach Ben Caudell, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Red Hawks. And you've got your partner with you, and it's not your wife, but it's probably the number 2 boss.
That's right. I got my youngest son, Max, here with me today, and he was unsure about coming, and then I told him he'd get a free donut.
Oh, yeah, that's a winner. That's a keeper every time.
That was the deciding factor.
Yeah, and I think must be going to be a little golfer because he's got his Titleist cap on, so things are good in the world, right?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Coach, I asked you before we came on the air, I don't remember a 3-0 start, but you said 2019, this is good. But, boy, you got to be happy with the start you've had because you haven't been playing any easy ones.
Man, I tell you, you're exactly right about that. And 2 of these 3 have been on the road, with hard and tough environments. On the road at Tullahoma last week against a really good Blackman team. And last night, I tell you, against Hillsborough, was an incredible environment. Both sides were packed. We had fans standing everywhere, and Metro wasn't in school yesterday, and so they had enormous student support there, and it was always a good feeling, John. And it shows a lot about your community and the strength that we have at Stewart's Creek when you look across at kickoff and you see a lot of red in the home bleachers.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't enough space for all of us. On our sideline and in our bleachers, and so awesome environment. Hillsborough was 2-0. They have 25 seniors on their team. They were a very impressive team, really physical, and it definitely says a lot about our team and being able to go on the road and pull out one last night in a really tough environment.
And Ben, it's funny when we talk about these kind of things, but adversity is part of it, and on the road wins are huge, and I don't care who you're playing, on the road is huge, and you're kind of starting to establish a little bit of rhythm, and in the last two games you've gotten off to good starts, and I think that's important. And I was telling somebody the other day that in the game the week before, it was one of the best opening drives I have seen ever by anybody. I mean, and I've seen Oakland do it, and you guys were doing it, seen Riverdale, but you got to be pleased with how they're starting the game off, and defensively, I think you're a little underrated, really.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We have, speaking to your last point, we got 8 new starters on defense, and it's such a hard-working group. So proud of our defensive staff, D-line coach Brian Burnham, such a veteran, just a tremendous motivator and leader, technician. Nicholas Michaels is doing a great job, with our linebackers. Garrett Curtis, played, for Randy Sanders at ETSU, was a part of the turnaround of that program and making the FCS playoffs. So proud of the defensive side of the ball. Proud of, Jonathan Waller had a big sack last night up front. He's one that is really starting to come into his own. Bryson Hayes, B.J. Peter, Daniel Johnson. John, here's the thing. He's a sophomore playing on both sides of the ball, making plays, just has an awesome look in his eye. Reminds me a little bit of Taden Moonavong as a sophomore, just with the maturity and the the cerebral nature that he has. To play as a sophomore, you got to be mentally tough. Proud of him, and proud of Keelan Harris and Marcel Gordon, 2 guys that are first-year starters for us as well. And the back end for us, is all seniors. 3 of them starting for the first year. 3 of them that didn't complain at all. Nigel Maynard gets a lot of the attention, but I'm telling you, the other 3 guys, Drell Watson, Ari Hills, and Landon Ruxtell, are guys that patiently waited and didn't complain. You don't hear from their parents. And to me, all those things go into, the psyche of our team, and all those things that happen in a 4-quarter game on the road. Those things don't just happen. It's hard. It's hard to do that, especially against a team that hadn't lost in Hillsborough. And speaking to what you said about how our offense has started, I'm proud of those guys. I'm proud of how they've started. I think we need to. We've kind of reached a lull in the past 2 games at certain times, and credit to our opponents with that. But the bottom line is this: we started fast, and then we had a long drive that ate a lot of clock there in the 4th quarter that kind of sealed it. So proud of the job that both sides of the ball did last night in finishing.
Well, let's talk about a few weapons here. We talked the first week, before any games were played, and you were talking about Jacob Jones and the maturity and the level-headedness and those kind of things, the leadership qualities. And you can see that on the field. We saw that in the first game that we broadcast, making the right decisions. I mean, that's really hard to do for a high school quarterback.
Oh, Jacob, man, you want your quarterback, you want him to be, level-headed. You want him to play with passion and emotion, but not play emotional.
Right.
Especially at that position. And he's although he's a junior, he is a leader on our team, and so proud of him and getting our offense into a rhythm, getting them going. Understanding just, hey, when we're wanting to go with different paces on offense and work the clock as opposed to go fast. Those things are hard to do as a young quarterback, and he's done a great job.
Javarian Ote been injured, but your depth has kind of played a big part. And Kenny Jordan, what a night last night, 108 yards on the ground and 72 yards in receptions and a touchdown. That may be something that you haven't had in the past, somebody that can come in and take up the slack like he's done.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to say it bothers me, but I pay attention to, what everybody else is, commenting on and things like this regarding our program. And sometimes the only name you hear them mention is Javarian, and deservedly so. Caleb Floyd, I'm just telling you.
Been a workhorse.
John, he started for us in round one of the playoffs as a sophomore.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Johnson, I already mentioned, he was sick last week and couldn't play against Blackman. He came back last night. You mentioned Kenny, Marcel, all these guys. I mean, at this level, it's not about one person. We've got an experienced offensive line. We've got other pieces, seniors at receiver. We got a quarterback who's mature. And I'm proud of all these guys and what they've done and how unselfish they are. And that's going to have to be the case moving forward because it's not going to get any easier for us.
And, looking at the region coming up and all these games, and some have been close, some have been not down to the wire, but what I've seen is finishing games. And that is the hardest thing for football teams to find that key. What is it that gets you across the hump? What is it that Stewart's Creek has been able to, you got a big touchdown there to go up again by 14, and that long drive you were talking about. That takes, I don't know, what is it, grit? What's the combination there?
Yeah, I think it is a combination of a lot of things. The biggest thing, though, is when you think about toughness, being on the road and the other bands playing, and last night their PA announcer was, literally leading chants, while we were on offense. When you think about toughness, you think, about the physical nature of things. But I'm telling you, it requires something that's mental. And it requires, coaches that understand that what got it done for you in the first quarter might not be what gets it done in the fourth quarter. Adjustments throughout the game, calm communication amongst leaders on the field. I mean, here's the thing, John. When I became our head coach in 2020, this group of seniors were freshmen. And, they're all that I know. And luckily, there's been some stability, amongst our coaches.
They're all yours.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
When all these seniors are at my house with our staff and families, in the preseason, these are my guys. I'm just telling you, I love these guys. They are my guys. They don't belong to anybody else.
Right.
And, they care about each other. And, so I'm proud of all those things, and I think all those things contribute to, what we've been able to accomplish so far.
Well, we're talking to Ben Caudell, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Redhawks, off to a 3-0 start. Let's talk about your next opponent, which is the Rockville Rockets. Now, they lost a tough one last night, but we all know they've got offensive weapons, and we know defensively they've been playing very well also. Big one for you. They come to your place.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited to, host these guys. It's weird how it's ended up with us and Blackman. We're hosting both 2 years in a row. Consequently, we're going to, two of our region rivals for away games, for the second year in a row this year. But, I know Brian, we go to church together, really respect him a lot. They've got a senior quarterback, to me, that's the first thing I look at, watching film. He seems to be a great leader. He was hurt last year. You're right. They've got a lot of dynamic weapons. They look beautiful on both sides of the wall. I'm telling you, they look beautiful. They have tremendously good-looking players, they've played 3 really tough teams. This is going to be their third away game. It's their fourth game, third away game, and so, hopefully we can enjoy, Friday night, the rest of this weekend. But we've got to turn the page very quickly in order to have any semblance of success on Friday night against a really good Rockville team.
One of the keys, I guess, with them too, you want to try to keep the ball offensively. You want to eat up some clock, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta look at all those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm involved in our special teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 3 phases.
Yeah.
And so we'll hopefully get a plan in place that combines all those things to hopefully have some success against them. But I'm just telling you, they are super talented, and we've played 3 really good football teams to open the season, and I can assure you, Rockvale is as good looking as any of them. They got a really tight knit coaching staff. You can tell that they have great leadership. Like I said, senior quarterback, a lot of faces back on both sides of the ball, and this is going to be a huge challenge for our team.
Going to be a great crowd because they'll bring some folks. The Rock will be there, and the Creek will also be there in full force. And I know it's looking forward to it being a great game. And I'm just tickled for you and 3-0 start, and I know you want to keep it going. So.
Yes, sir, we do. John, appreciate you guys as always.
And we'll be there, by the way, Friday night. So tell
awesome.
Todd Harris to take care of us, okay?
Hey, you won't have any concerns about that. I can assure you.
All right, that's Ben Caudill, the head coach of the Stewart's Creek Red Hawks. This portion of the show is brought to you by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, the largest and most comprehensive orthopedic surgery group in Middle Tennessee. You can find out more at TOA.com. When we coming back, we're going to be talking about some Rockvale football here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner.
Dr. Automotive is the cure for your car. Brothers Danny and Randy Brewer have been providing Rutherford County with ASE certified auto repair for nearly 20 years. You'll receive courteous and friendly customer service every time. Why? Because we grew up here and you are our neighbors. Foreign and domestic auto repair and maintenance on Hazelwood Drive in Smyrna, just off I-24. SmyrnaAutorepair.com, 615-220-0971. Just ask for Danny.
This Fanceroni pepperoni is fancy.
Am I fancy enough for the Fanceroni? I'm wearing cargo shorts.
But Tim, so am I.
Try the Fanceroni pepperoni with over 100 old-world pepperoni. Little Caesars changed the Hot and Ready Classic and added 33% more pepperoni, which makes it 133% better pizza than before. It's really good. Order a new classic online and use our convenient Pizza Portal pickup.
In Murfreesboro on Memorial, Warrior Drive, South Church, and Old Fort.
Pizza, pizza.
You've seen the ads out there, companies wanting to buy your home. But why sell yourself short when you can get fair market value? I'm Lisa Patton. If you have an estate to settle or a home to sell, call Parks Auction. We'll work with you to sell your home or property in any condition with no costly repairs on your timeline. Why accept one offer when you can have multiple? You need Parks Auction. We look out for your best interest. Call Parks Auction today. We handle everything.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
This portion of the show brought to you by JHA Company, Josh Houston and Associates, jewelry. They have letter jackets, yearbooks, graduation products, and more. Online at JHACompany.com. John Dingens back with you here for the final round for me, and I can't think of a better guy to finish up talking to than Brian Guthrie of the Rockvale Rockets.
It's getting deep in here.
I just kind of took over for what Coach Caudill said, and a tough one last night, though, Coach. I know that game, probably, I guess you would say you had it in hand, and it just kind of slipped out of your fingers.
Yeah. We were up 2 touchdowns, I guess. We turned the ball over twice in the fourth quarter in their territory, and you just can't beat good teams that way. I mean, Tullahoma's a good football team. They're well coached. They do things the right way, and we didn't, we just can't get out of our own way right now.
Of course, you've got region coming up very, very soon. You got another tough game coming up. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the things that you're happy with, I guess it's kind of two-sided. You see things you need to work on and things that you're happy about. Let's start with the things you're happy about, because I know you had that game in pretty good shape at one point, and you were playing well.
I'm happy with our defense. I think our defense is playing really well. I mean, we broke it once or twice last night, but for the most part, we're playing pretty stout defense. Those guys are flying around, and Coach Delk and them are doing a good job. I am pleased with the fact that we actually figured out how to block a little bit better in the second half, and how to sustain some things and get some offense going. But I'm not happy about the way we're just not mentally disciplined right now. We're just letting things we're letting the outside influences get to us. We're just not doing things the right way, and ultimately that's me, and I've got to get that fixed.
I think the turnovers hurt. I know you want to eliminate those. That's a difficult thing to do too, isn't it? I mean, because it's kind of, sometimes it can be mental, sometimes execution, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they were, both of them were, we had a good play, and one of them was a 15, 20-yard pass for a first down, and kid just I don't know if he just dropped it or got a shoulder on it. I don't know. And the other one was our little back who we love, Rashawn Odell, who's just an amazing kid. Somebody put a helmet on the ball and popped it out. So they were both ill-timed. I don't know if there's ever a good time to fumble the ball, but they were both ill-timed. And but I mean, we should have been in that situation anyway. We should have taken care of business a little bit and better in the first half. And like I said, ultimately that comes down to me, and we've got to get some things fixed, and it's going to be a long weekend.
That's a good point you made about not being in that position. If you do some things better, I guess, in other parts of the game, then you're not in the situation where they would affect it.
Or earlier in the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
You talk about work when you come back. I know. Are y'all practicing tomorrow? Monday.
We are.
Okay, and so you got to just forget it though. That's the thing. I guess you've got to make sure that let's move on, guys. We got to forget this one. It's non-district. Let's go.
Yeah. I just after the game, I challenged our kids to do some soul searching, and I challenged our coaches to do some soul searching, and I know I'm going to do plenty, but we've got to figure out a way. It's kind of been a trend, what's going on, and we've got to figure out a way to fix it. We've got to make sure we have people in the right places. We got to correct some errors that are happen continuously, and ultimately it's on our coaching staff and me. So
we're talking to Brian Guthrie, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. One thing I know, you've got Stewart's Creek off to a great start, 3-0, but when you talk about non-district, is it fair to me to say if it's going to happen, this is when you want it to happen? I mean, is that? I know that's kind of a cop out, but I mean, really, it is true.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously we need a win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not 0-3. We're 1-2, but we need a win, and it's going to be a tough one. I mean, they got players everywhere. They're stout on defense. They run a lot of different things on defense. I think Ben runs their defense and does a really good job. They've got some ballers on offense, the Otay kid, and then the transfer they got in from Pulaski's a pretty dynamic player, and I think the quarterback's playing better. So, we definitely have our work cut out for us, and we've got to figure out what Rockville football is and how to play it.
It's kind of, you take the two teams, you and Stewart's Creek. Stewart's Creek kind of has an identity. You guys still looking for your identity, maybe?
No, I think we know what our identity is. We're just not very good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right now. So, I mean, I think we know who we are. I don't think that's the issue. I think it's just executing and doing the things that we need to do, no matter what the situation.
Well, as we talked about last year, and it's so wide open. I mean, I look at all the teams. I look at Riverdale, and they've got a loss. You got Siegel that's undefeated. You got Stewart's Creek, but in our district, you're talking about Siegel and Riverdale. Blackman looks like they're improving, but the same can be said for Rockville too. I mean, it's just it's a long season, and it's a long way from anything about serious what's going to happen toward the rest of the year.
It is. I mean, we've got Stewart's Creek next, and that's non-region. But then we go, Riverdale, Oakland, Oakland, Coffee County. So the next 3 will be region games after Stewart's Creek. So I mean, it's got to happen now, and we've got to get it figured out. And we need to do things that we got to do to win the football game Friday night, and hopefully that'll propel us into our region play.
Going to be road warriors too for a while, I guess, too, aren't you?
We got 2 more away, and then we're back home. No,
Oakland's at home,
yes,
I think, isn't it?
Oakland's
Yeah.
at home.
So, wow. So it's here.
Yes.
So, talk a little bit about injury-wise, because I feel like you're in pretty good shape there, and it devastated you last year, but that's a good note that you got everybody still out there.
Yeah, our best receiver's out. I've been out for 2 weeks. Hopefully we'll get him back this week. Malik Hicks. So hopefully we'll get him back this week, and that'll definitely help us on offense. Jalen Morgan's been battling a little nagging issue, but I think he's fine. He played last night and seemed to be fine. So, but other than that, yeah, I mean, I think we're in good shape in that regard. So.
Quick turnarounds. That's the name of the game, I think.
Yeah, we gotta just figure out what our answers are, and we got to forget about that and head towards Stewart's Creek.
As I mentioned, talking about it being wide open, and as we go on, a team can be, and I'm not talking about any particular team, but a team 1 and 2, team 3 and 0. Boy, when the region starts, though, it's all brand new. It's all everybody's 0 and 0 really when it comes to that. And if you can work out the issues, everybody should be fine. And it won't take, but a good win would do that, wouldn't it? I mean, really.
Yeah. I mean, you go back and look at all our games, and I'm not taking anything away from Tullahoma or Nolensville at all. They're both good football teams, but we left points and plays on the field on both those games. We should be sitting at 3-0 right now if we play like we're capable of playing. So we just gotta figure out what it's going to take to get that done. Is
that the most frustrating, Brian, in terms of knowing that they are capable,
and
it's just not happening?
Be 100-0.
Yeah, and no, you probably didn't have a chance. Yeah.
Then know that we should have that in my eyes we were better football teams and that we should have won both games.
And your quarterback's healthy, I would think, so that's good. Before I let you go, I did want to mention we're going to be at the Rockville Stewart's Creek game, so it's going to be our first look at you guys, and I'm hoping I think we're going to get a home game too. I maybe Oakland, but love going out there, and the atmosphere there is unbelievable, and it's so great to go to that game. I look forward to it every year, and sometimes we get to go twice, which is difficult sometimes, but boy, you got a lot of people in that community, and I'm thinking that community is going to come out here at Stewart's Creek on Friday night. They'll be out there in full force. That crowd will be huge.
I hope so. I hope they're not as frustrated as I am, and I hope they still come to support. But we'll see. Usually they do, and it is a tight-knit group, and they've been great, and our student section's been great this year. So hopefully it'll be a packed house, and we'll have a lot of support.
I know you personally. Well, I've known you for a long time,
yes,
and I'm going to ask you.
You sang at my wedding.
Yeah, I did. That's right.
You sang at my
wedding. Wow. Couldn't find anybody, huh? Okay,
no,
well, anyway.
Everybody else was booked.
I want to talk about your daughter. That's a senior, is that right?
She is.
Wow. And a soccer player?
She is.
And not only a beautiful child, but everybody that I talked to said she's just a delight to be with. And I haven't really had the privilege of talking to her for any length of time, but I know you got to be proud of that. And
she's pretty amazing. She brought 4 of her best friends from Central last night to the game, and my youngest daughter brought 1 or 2 of her best friends from Central to the game. So they had a crew there.
Is it tough having a senior? I mean, is it kind of hard to believe, isn't it, at this point in your life, isn't it?
It is, but she does a great job of making good decisions. She loves Jesus, and and she went on 3 mission trips this summer and 2 or 3 church camps, and I barely even saw her. She asked me to I was going to sit down the other night and watch the Florida game, and she came to me and she said, "Dad, can we watch a movie together?" And as bad as I wanted to watch the Florida game, I said, "Absolutely." Honey.
Yeah, that was good, Daddy.
We are going to watch whatever you want to watch.
Amen. That was
whatever you want to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, pretty amazing to see her flourish and develop and just become a young lady, and I'm real proud of her and my youngest daughter as well.
Well, we'll have to talk about the youngest one on our next visit. Okay. Brian, good luck next week. I know it's a big game for both teams, and we'll see you there. Okay.
All right.
That's Brian Guthrie, the head coach of the Rockville Rockets. This portion of the show brought to you by the law offices of John Day, providing superior legal representation to injury victims and their families. Find out more at johndaylegal.com. When we come back, it's Adam Renshaw of the Siegel Stars here on the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner. If you need concrete work done, who would I call? Dan France Concrete. Here's why. He's local. He attended Walter Hill Elementary, Oakland, and MTSU. He served our community as a school resource officer for 9 years, and he's involved in the community.
This is Dan with Dan France Concrete, wishing all Rutherford County student athletes a great season. Study hard, play harder, and be safe.
Dan France Concrete is a licensed and insured residential and commercial concrete construction contractor serving Middle Tennessee. Check out danfranceconcrete.com online to see some of their work.
Here's a question. What do you want from your electric co-op?
An app for easy payment.
Solar energy solutions.
I just want to talk to a real person when I need help. Energy tips and low rates.
Done, 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 done.
I want to fly my car to the moon.
Houston, let's talk about electric vehicles. Energy Service Life. That's Middle Tennessee Electric. We're here to get done what matters most to you. Learn more at mte.com.
We're talking now with Heather here at Carpets by Osborne. Tell us what it's like to work at a family business.
It's a lot of fun. However, it's a lot of work. Everybody has to pull their weight equally.
What do you think are some of the advantages of people doing business with a family business versus a corporate business?
We are here to answer all questions. We're responsible for scheduling jobs. We're not here to sell you material and pass you off to a list of installers.
Carpets by Osborne on Northwest Broad, next to Tire World.
Whether you're a student, alumni, or just a fan, Raider Tees has exactly what you need to help you cheer on the Blue Raiders on game days and every moment in between. We sell officially licensed Blue Raider gear, whether it's clothing, hats, flags, chairs, or just whatever. We have it all, including exclusive gear you won't find anywhere else. Like us on Facebook for updates on new Blue Raider gear and special prices or discounts. For all your Blue Raider gear, shop Raider Tees today. Bigger, better, and go blue!
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
This portion of the Coaches Show is brought to you by Ideas Tees, who will be happy to help you fulfill all of your imprinted apparel, embroidery, and advertising specialty needs. Find out more at ideastees.com. We're now joined by Siegel Stars head football coach Adam Renshaw. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good to be here.
It's always a good morning to be here after a good win last night.
Oh yeah. We're excited. Had a great night at Siegel High School last night. Fun night for the kids. Fun night for the crowd. And, tremendous atmosphere.
WGNS. It was a game of the week last night. Siegel and Smyrna. Before we talk football, Coach. I know y'all are very proud of that new turf, and y'all had a dedication ceremony last night.
Oh, yeah. And, our AD, Greg White, and Mr. Creasy, our principal, they worked really hard on getting that together. I thought it was a tremendous ceremony. And our school secretary, Christy Collier, man, she's the best in the business. And she helped get all that together. And, I did a lot of work in the spring and summer on it, but it's been really cool seeing our staff and our parents and our booster club and everybody work so hard on thanking those people who are supporting us.
I know y'all have worked extremely, extremely hard. It's funny you said Greg White and Larry Creasy, because that's one of my questions. We'll just go ahead and throw it out there. I said, did you get any help out of your AD, Greg White, or Principal Larry Creasy?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I get all kind of help from those guys. In fact, I get a lot of direction from those guys too. And everybody has worked really hard on this project. And I tell you, it was really cool for me to see the pride in their eyes, and not just their eyes, but several of our school officials' eyes last night as all that was going on.
Well, I know, like I said, Mr. Creasy speaks very, very highly of you, Coach. He knows how hard you work, and I appreciate you giving credit where other credit's due. Now, the school secretary, you're 100% right. You know as well as I do. She probably did a whole lot of the legwork on that. But yeah, you're right. It takes a lot of people to get that pulled off. Y'all are proud, and you should be proud of that.
Yeah, and again, the people who have sponsored us in the Siegel community and that field, man, I can't thank them enough. And we wanted them last night to see their investment. We tried to get as many kids as we could on the field. We wanted them to see that they're changing lives. We all know that a football field's important, but it's also a soccer field. It's also a lacrosse field. Track and fields out there. The band is going to be able to practice on this, and so I mean, this is an apparatus to give kids something to do and keep them from doing nothing or on their phones.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know we talked a little bit last night on the show in between the game, talking about, like you said, who all's affected by this turf, and plus, you've got a middle school right next door. It's going to be using it a lot, and I know we talked about this and laughed about it. You didn't miss anything about getting the field ready.
That's 100% correct. Yeah. When I was at Cleveland High School, I was a grass guy. We got to have this grass. Then they put that plastic grass down with the lines, and I was like, man, this is nice. I go home on Thursday night.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's talk a little bit about Siegel Stars football here. Best start, Coach, if you know your Siegel Stars history, which I did a little work this morning. Best start since 2012.
Yeah. Well, we don't need to be compared to that 2012 team just yet.
Well,
what a great team,
What a great team. A team that went 13-1. I can see it just like it was yesterday, sitting in the stands at Siegel. Lost to Maryville, though, 47-43. They had a quarterback, somebody locally pretty good. I've got his autograph on an MTSU helmet, Brent Stockstill. But, hey, you got a pretty good quarterback too right now, Coach.
We do have a pretty good quarterback. Thomas Santel is playing really good football, and not only that, he's so fun to watch. I've coached 3 All-State quarterbacks, and I've never had one that's as fun to watch as Thomas. Thomas really he embraces the leadership role. He makes plays off the cuff, and then he also makes the regular plays, just zone read plays, easy throws. And then, man, he's got an explosive arm now. He can throw the ball down the field.
Well, the zone read play you just mentioned, I know last night listening to the telecast, one time I think Brian might have got lost because I think Thomas took the ball. They were running a sweep, and we weren't sure exactly who got the ball. Next time we know, Thomas scoops down the field about 47, 50 yards for a touchdown.
Yeah, and, went back and watched that play on film, an amazing play. Away from Thomas also. The fake that was carried out, we tell our kids, a fake's as good as 2 blocks. Had an amazing block on the backside by Drew Hostetler, 20, 30 yards down the field. And, man, I thought our offensive line played really well last night. Those kids have gotten better every week. And, of course, we always talk about them being the unsung heroes. But if you look at our offensive line, 220-pound kids getting after it.
Absolutely. And, people who know football, if you know football and you talk about 11 on 11, you got to have 11 doing their job.
Amen.
I mean, because like you said, you can have the best running back or the best quarterback or the best play called, but you miss a block or you do something, it creates havoc, it blows up the play.
Yeah. Well, and last night wasn't a very glamorous night receptions-wise for our receivers, but they blocked their tails off. And, we got 4 receivers that I'm really proud of and a little bit of depth there. And, Teron Grant was making killer blocks. I mentioned Drew. Caleb Watson, he's our wide receiver, and we put him all over the place. He's really the linchpin that kind of makes that thing all go. And Kevin Inslee, we got another great slot receiver right there. So, I mean, we're really excited about what we're putting on the field offensively right now.
Well, Coach, you start filling them wide receivers' heads with blocks, they're going to want a blockchain or something, They're going to want to run with a cement block or something. They're going to want something. But, hey, you're okay with that, right?
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's team football, right? I mean, they've had some big nights catching the football. Last night, they had a big night blocking. And getting those kids buying into the team concept is really what it's all about.
And that's what you want. That's what you want. Because at the end of the day, when the game's over, you got them huddled up. Doesn't matter who scored, who did what. Right now, the good thing is the W's.
Exactly right. And, we tell our kids before every ball game, look, the best defense on the field is the winning defense. The best offense on the field is the winning offense. Doesn't matter if you win by 50 or win by 1. It doesn't matter if they score 50 and you score 51. Let's not get caught up in what it looks like. Let's do whatever it takes to win.
And I think a lot of people early on talking about Siegel Stars football is focused on the offensive end, but you held people down first couple games.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, I thought our defense played really well last night. We, they had Smyrna has some tough running backs, some big, tough guys. And so it was 11 hats to the football. I thought our linebacking core played really well. Maddox Grissom's, his dad's a Smyrna alum. That was a big game to him last night. And so it was really cool to see him have a good game. Andrew Ricks had a great game. We got Corinne's Waiters back. He got to play. And I thought our defensive front played really well. We had to do it with some quickness and moving around. But our defensive front, particularly Chase Simpson, played really well up front.
Well, and you get that. They start feeding off one another, offense and defense. The defense wants to do that because they want to get off the field because they want to see that offense back out there. And they start feeding off each other and coaching. That's how you create that winning monster.
Oh yeah, and I think a great example of that on our team right now is Quentin Groves. Quentin Groves had I think it's like an 80-yard interception return for a touchdown last night, and man, he's calling on the offense at practice. He's challenging them. He's getting on scout teams. I mean, Quentin's a kid. We have to make him take rests at practice from time to time. I mean, what a tremendous competitor, and last 2 weeks he's had pick sixes.
And that interception, 91-yard interception last night, Coach, for a touchdown, pretty much put the nail in the coffin there because Smyrna was driving, trying to score, get back in the game there. And, Quentin, as soon as he caught it, Brian called the interception, and John said, ain't nobody catching him.
Well, Smyrna's, they're a good 0-3 football team. And I felt like, they played some good football teams. They just hadn't had the breaks go their way. And I thought the game was in question into the third quarter there. And you're exactly right. That pick six kind of ended things.
Well, and you're right about Smyrna. You got them early. And I think if you're a football coach, you want to get certain teams early because I think, Coach Williamson, you know this, they're going to get better every week. DJ Barksdale, 25 carries, 108 yards last night. So he was running hard last night early, like you said. He had a touchdown. Game was very close. I was listening again, 7-7 early on. And, but Stars, had a couple breaks go their way. Again, the big interception was huge for them.
Yeah.
All right, so 3-0. Don't want to give you that Nick Saban rat poison, Coach. You don't want that. You don't want it.
Yes, sir.
Next week, we're back at home again. All right, we got Coffee County coming in. Another big game, region game. Want to get that early start. Coffee County lost 38-17. How do you keep this early success from going the wrong direction?
Well, blue-collar mentality. We talked about last night before the game. We don't think we're very good as far as we don't think we're better than people. But then again, we're not going to be looked down upon. We're going to go to work. We're going to realize that we need to respect every opponent and prepare for them as well as we possibly can. But at the same time, we feel like there are expectations around the Siegel football program right now. And we don't want to walk away from that. We want to live up to those expectations.
Well, that's a good thing, Coach. So the next step, if you had a next step, just one next step you want your team to hear you say they need to take, what would it be?
Oh, right now I think it's just one game at a time. One game at a time. Keep everything in perspective. Forget last week. Let's be 1-0 this week. I saw a deal where the quarterback for the Steelers, Pickett, He looked at every incomplete pass he had last offseason. He didn't look at the completions, didn't look at the highlights. He looked at every incompletion and took notes on it. And that's where we are. There were lots of mistakes made in last night's football game, and there's things we can improve on. Let's focus on getting those things better.
Absolutely. All right, we've been joined this morning by Coach Adam Renshaw of the 3-0 Siegel Stars. That's a wonderful ring every coach loves to hear. This part of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Sir Pizza, whose 3 Murfreesboro locations offer a huge selection of mouth-watering pizzas, sandwiches, pastas, and wings. Order your favorite pizza online at sirpizza.com. So, Stars fans, get your Sir Pizza next Friday night. Head out over there to see the Stars play at home. Thank you, Coach. Have a great Saturday.
Yes, sir. You too.
All right. We'll be right back.
Sir Pizza.
You in a hurry for dinner? Well, we've made it even easier to order online at sirpizzatn.com. Tap the location nearest you and begin your carryout or delivery order at sirpizzatn.com. You can choose from our full menu, and we'll take care of the rest. A Queen's Feast is calling my name. Order Murfreesboro's favorite pizza online at sirpizzatn.com.
Sir Pizza, you made me love pizza again.
Rely on the experienced professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air.
Whether it's the blazing heat of summer or the bitter cold of winter, let the Rheem Pro professionals at Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Conditioning on West College Street keep your home or business comfortable year-round. We service all major brands and in most cases offer same-day service. Call us today at 615-890-1311. Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, your Rheem Pro partner heating and cooling contractor on West College Street, just under the Thompson Lane overpass.
Craig's Tax Service at 142 Heritage Park Drive offers complete tax preparation, financial, and bookkeeping services.
This is Brandon Craig with Craig's Tax Service. We're proud to support all Rutherford County athletes.
Craig's Tax Service reminds you that it makes sense to get help with your taxes. Call 890-2233 for an appointment.
We've been serving Rutherford County since 1988.
Craig's Tax Service, 890-2233.
We're just off Memorial Boulevard at 142 Heritage Park Drive.
We're at Rick's Barbecue on Warrior Drive, talking with Anne Marie Brents.
When people walk in and they're like, tell me what's good, I usually tell them the loaded baked potato, which is a fully loaded potato with the butter, sour cream, cheese, bacon, and chives, and then we put meat on top of it.
At Rick's, they use the largest potatoes you can find.
Every Tuesday, we run a special on the loaded potatoes. We call it Tater Tuesday, and we sell a lot of potatoes.
Barbecue, smoked chicken, ribs, they've got it all at Rick's Barbecue, 212 Warrior Drive, and online at ricksbbq.com.
Your ride, your stuff. You live with them together. I'm State Farm Agent Bud Morris. It's smart to protect them together to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-893-1417 and let me help you save by combining your auto and renters.
It's not just a home or a car. I'm State Farm Agent Celeste Middleton. We see your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Give me a call at 615-895-2700 and let me help you give them the protection they deserve.
The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
This portion of the Coach's Show is brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com. We are now joined by Eagles head coach Floyd Walker. Good morning, Coach.
Morning. Good morning. Appreciate y'all having me.
All right. Nice and early on this good Saturday morning. Coach, we knew what was coming.
We knew.
Last night.
Yeah, we knew.
We knew.
Yep.
We were talking on the Thursday show, your first road trip. The coaches know.
Right.
The kids had to learn the lesson, didn't they?
I mean, as far as the road tripping goes and everybody, we got a lot of returning kids, and they played against Moore County before, and I think we've been to Moore County 3 of the last 4 years. So the traveling part of it, wasn't a difficult challenge. It was more the opponent. So but we knew what we had going into it, and we knew what we were facing going into that ball game.
Yeah, Coach Chris White at Moore County, we've all known him for a long time. We talked again on the Thursday show about his wife, Holly, and his 2 boys. And, they were up here in the area working. The boys were little, and they would run around and knock heads all the time. And they've grown up, and that youngest boy's a heck of a football
They've
player.
grown up to become good people and really good football players. And Chris has done a super job over there with that program. They've got a lot of talent, and for a 1A football program, you expect them to end up doing some damage as the season goes on.
Well, last night's game, the final ended up being 45-20.
Right.
I was over at Riverdale listening to WGNS call the game over at Siegel. First half, though, Coach, y'all were right there.
We played well. I mean, first half, we had some self-inflicted wounds. We made some mistakes on our part. Got down on the first drive, but we came back and the kids battled, and that's the thing that we'll take away from this, and that's what we expect from our kids. Is whatever happens, it happens. But the thing at the end of the day is we just got to be us and do what we do.
All right, talking about you doing what you do, of course. Brody McLemore again last night leading the Eagles. He was 9 of 17 for 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, carried the ball 7 times for 69 yards. We joke around here. It's like the next McLemore. Of course, Brody's doing a lot of things for you guys.
Right. I thought Brody played well. I thought Brody competed at a high level. I thought Brody handled the offense extremely well. I thought as a senior, he set the tone as far as competing goes. And I can't take anything away from his effort. So we're super happy that he's on our squad, and things will only get better for him as we progress through the season.
Absolutely. Let's talk about a couple more kids last night had big games. Defensively, Marshall Spann, 9 tackles and a forced fumble for you guys.
Hey, I thought Marshall played exceptionally well considering who he had to chase around all night long. It's not easy to confine Dawson and the running back that they have. They've got some tremendous skill at Moore County, and I thought Marshall did a super job of not only making our checks for our defense, getting everybody lined up defensively, but also I thought he did a good job of tracking the football down.
Because y'all been playing really good defensive ball start.
We have, and I'm not disappointed in the way our defense played. I'm not disappointed in the way our kids played. I thought our kids battled. I thought our kids battled and competed for 4 quarters, and that's what we're going to take away from this, and we'll get back to work, and we'll try to figure out, exactly the mistakes that we did make.
All right. So, we're talking to Eagle head coach Floyd Walker. You talked about lessons learned a little bit. Right. So I know either you're on the bus coming back last night, or you laying in the bed, can't sleep, or you're waking up this morning. It's funny because it never stops. The brain never stops working. So the lessons you want your kids to learn from last night.
The lesson that we talked about is when you play good football teams, you cannot have mistakes. You cannot have self-inflicted wounds. And we had a couple of those. Okay, so that's the big thing that we're going to take away from that. If we can clean up some things and execute at a higher level, we got a chance to continue to be a pretty good football team. We're a good football team right now, but we got a chance to be just a little bit better if we can just clean up a couple of things.
All right, as you talked about, of course, Brody McLemore's senior leadership. I know y'all at Eagle are always looking to grow kids too.
Right.
You're trying to grow kids, get them to that position. Talk about a couple of young kids early on you've seen. Maybe they're starting to find the buttons. The click is coming on.
Well, I mean, you got to take a young man that came into our program this year, a kid named Cruz Giles. Cruz moved up to Eagleville from Georgia. Cruz had I forgot how far of a run it was, maybe a 70-yard touchdown run, first play of the game with him. So we were pleased with him. Houston Reddick at our jack linebacker. Houston is a sophomore, getting his first year of starting, and he's progressing really well. So we're really pleased with him. Mason Sears is a guy that's playing offensive tackle for the first time in his life, who's a sophomore, and he's started to come about. So we're tickled in the direction that our young kids are coming.
Cruz Giles last night, of course, he had 2 carries, 73 yards and a touchdown. Noted last night for him, so that's a good thing. Coach, I always got a little bit of Eagleville connection. How's my boy Ferns doing for you?
Ferns is playing well, man. We got 2 Ferns now. Okay?
Oh, you got double Ferns.
Yeah, we got 2 Ferns. We got Elijah and we got Aaron, and he did well last night. Made some really, really tough competitive catches last night with people either hanging on him or people contacting him when the ball touches hands. And I thought he did a super job of doing that because it was a physical ball game last night. And I'm sure that, what is it right now, 8 something or whatever. We can go ahead and move this
Saturday
up.
morning.
Yeah, Saturday morning. But I'm sure he's still asleep because I told him he's gonna rest well last night based off of the nature of the ball game.
Well, you talk about, we talked about Ferns, and just because I knew the boys growing up, a lot of small schools, coach, really are one-dimensional on offense. Right. You guys, y'all try to mix it up, running and throwing.
We try to mix it up. We want to be balanced. We want to make people defend sideline to sideline and end zone to end zone. That's what we want to do. We want to try to get people out in space and make people have to make plays in space. So from that standpoint, we kind of try to do a little bit of everything. But at the end of the day, it's really like a whole lot of nothing. So it's more deception is what it really is.
Well, and we see that. I was at Riverdale last night. They're spreading the ball out again, trying to get people, in space, like you said. That's just the way of football right now.
Football has become a space game. You very, very, very rarely see people line up with the dinosaur fullback and two tight ends and one wide receiver and just continue to run power and tall sweep. A lot of people still in the 1A level run the wing tee just because of the misdirection and everything that it creates. But a lot of people are going into spreading people out because defenses are loading up on the box.
Well, and everybody's going with the new thing.
The new way.
We got new technology today. There's always something new, and everybody
don't talk technology to me.
Everybody gravitates because you see success. You want to do those things, but like you said, football's football.
It is. At the end of the day, you have to block, you have to tackle, and you have to be physical, and that's the nature of the game. Where I don't care what position you play, other than quarterback, you have to have a highly competitive physical mentality every time you take the field.
And I know, Coach, that's what you try to get your Eagles to do. All right, let's look ahead a little bit. Mm-hmm. Next week you play at Collinwood, another little road trip.
Ain't a little road trip, all right? It's a long road trip.
It's a long road trip. So if you're an Eagle fan next week, you better get out of work and stuff, maybe a few minutes early, get on the road at least by about 4:35.
Right.
To get down to Collinwood.
Yep.
Collinwood, they're sitting at 1-1. I believe they won last night.
They had a huge win last night at Cornersville, so we'll get on the video of them today and start trying to get something put together. It's a challenging, interesting road trip because we hop on the trace for a little bit, and then when you get there, it's an interesting environment, kind of the way they set up the visiting team. So it's going to present some challenges, but I'm fully expect our kids to be up to it.
So this will be his second region game already.
Region, yep.
You guys jump in pretty early in the region, as far as games, and so that'll be a big need next week for that. All right, so short week. Are y'all practicing Monday?
We'll practice Monday morning at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll practice Monday morning at 8 a.m. Get them in, get through our practice, get them a quick lift in, and let them go home, spend some time with their family. Try to enjoy the holiday a little bit, and then we'll bring them back in on Tuesday afternoon.
All right, so no rest for the weary.
No. It's
not
football season. No, not football season.
Because you were talking before we walked in, hit the record button. I said, "What you gonna do today?" He goes, "Well, I gotta go back to Eagle."
Oh yeah,
you got things to do.
I got things to do. It's a 7-day-a-week job this time of year, so and I'm just thankful to be able to do it and where I'm doing it at. So.
Absolutely. Miss Kim got a list for you this weekend now?
Oh, I'm sure she got something.
Are you going to watch some football this weekend besides your own?
I doubt it.
What?
I doubt it. If I do, it'll be when the sun goes down. She'll have me doing something.
This Blue Raider is not going to watch the Alabama MT.
Well, the sun might be down by that time.
Oh, okay.
By that time.
You're talking about daylight.
I'm going to figure it out, okay?
I'm going to figure it out. All right. This portion of the Coaches Show is brought to you by J. Mullins Jewelry, a family-owned and operated business trading clients like family since 1938. Jewelry design, repair, and wide selection of great jewelry pieces. Online at mullinsjewelry.com. Again, these Eagles go on the road, folks. Next Friday night to Collinwood, region game. Eagle fans, Coach Floyd Walker and the Eagles need you to get in that car and run down there.
Hey y'all, this is Lakin Hibden. I'm a mortgage loan originator for F&B Mortgage, a department of First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, located on 322 North Front Street in downtown Murfreesboro. When you're ready to purchase your new home or refinance the one you have, I'll make sure your home loan process will move along smoothly when you put your trust in me. With attractive rates and a great solution that will fit your lifestyle and budget, F&B Mortgage is your hometown lender. Visit my website, lakinhibden.com. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 401715.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance takes great pride in treating local athletes here in Rutherford County. Experts in joint, bones, and muscles. And with over 65 specialists, TOA has a playbook to get you back in the game. To request an appointment, visit TOA.com or call 855-NEED-TOA. Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life.
Quick, convenient, efficient. 3 words that we all hope to experience when we do business. Our goal at JHA Company is to bring just that to an industry that's traditionally dictated to the customer when it's time to do business. Whether you're purchasing class pictures in a yearbook, class jewelry, a letter jacket, school spirit wear, or senior graduation products, we strive to make the experience quick, convenient, and efficient. Find out more at jhacompany.com. JHA, your one source for an unparalleled scholastic experience.
This is a paid legal ad.
When a family member is lost as a result of someone else's negligence, the grief can be unbearable. It also leaves you with a lot of questions like, how did this happen? Who's responsible? And is my family going to be okay? That's a lot to go through, but with the law offices of John Day on your side, you don't have to go through any of it alone. We understand what you're going through, and we have the experience to get the answers, justice, and compensation your family deserves. Call the law offices of John Day.
Hello, this is Coy Young at Las Casas Feed Supply. We'd like to welcome you to our door.
Whether you have a quarter acre or several, Las Casas Feed Supply has premium feeds and dog foods you can't find in box stores.
Nutrition is our specialty here at Las Casas Feed.
Plus, every Saturday morning they have a local producer-only farmers market with fresh vegetables, beef, pork, and more.
Customer service and expertise that exceeds your expectations.
Family owned and operated by Coy and Jennifer Young, Las Casas Feed Supply on Barlow Lane, just off Highway 96 East in Las Casas.
Is your saving for retirement strategy involving the phrase, "I'll get around to it someday"? If so, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor Lee Colvin, and when it comes to meeting your goals, time can be on your side, and there's no better time than now to get started towards your retirement goals. Give us a call, Lee Colvin, at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC.
It's time to talk MTCS Sports. It's Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
We're joined by Middle Tennessee Christian School coaches to talk about their most recent games and their upcoming opponents. It's time to talk orange and white on MTCS Cougar Corner.
All right, we're back for Cougar Corner, and we're joined by head coach Christian Peterson of the Middle Tennessee Christian Cougars. Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
I'm good.
You don't have any bags under your eyes this morning.
No, not this morning. I slept pretty well last night.
Man, drive home last night, what, 10 minutes?
Yeah, it was nice to not have to take a bus to a football game. That was for sure.
A bus or a plane or however y'all got back last week from Florida. So the road trip home last night was a lot shorter.
Absolutely.
Man, that's good stuff. First home game. How was the crowd last night?
Oh, fantastic. Best fans in Tennessee.
Best fans in Tennessee. I know they came out. They've been excited to see that, the first couple games on the road. Now you got a good little homestand coming up.
Yeah, we get to hang out here for about a month. So it's definitely it's good. The excitement on campus is great. And, excited to be able to play in front of our fans here for a little bit.
All right. Last night you guys played 42. Y'all are putting some points on the board, Coach.
Yeah. Kids are playing really well. They were able to execute. It's great having a pretty senior heavy line. Depending on how people are playing us, we're able to come over and talk through adjustments. And we made an adjustment last night that we hadn't really ever done before, and just by how they were giving us a different look than we'd ever seen. So we're like, all right, well, let's just do this, and then we'll get outside here, and they picked it up right away. And so it's one of the benefits of having a senior line that's played a lot of football and understands the why behind each play, and they're able to make adjustments as we go, and it's helped for sure.
Well, 42-13 last night over Grace Christian out of Franklin. A lot of people want to talk Cougar offense, but Coach, let's talk defense first. You guys have held opponents down very well in the first couple games.
Yeah, no, defense has been flying around. The 3 overtime game really hurts their points against average. Really, they finished that game with 19 at end of 4 quarters, and then back-to-back games with 13. It all kind of starts with Brooks Jones in the middle. He just flies around. He's a madman. We were joking about it last night that he's like the Energizer Bunny. He'll come over and play some offense. He plays defense, and every time you ask him, like, "Hey, you good?" I'm great. I'm ready. And we got Jackson Heifel back last night. So he's out there playing with a club and led the team in tackles, and just finding a way. Up front, Harris Haynes was great for us, and then our rotation of the rest of the D-line guys, Jesse Perry, Dotson, Self, Brady Young. And I'm sure I'm missing some guys in there. We've rotated a bunch in there last night, but I thought we won the line of scrimmage. Lets our backers kind of flow, and then defensive backs there's a position we were younger at, and you can see them triggering down now, making their right reads, getting to the right spot, and it's been fun to watch that group kind of develop. And right now our defense looks fantastic, flying around making plays.
Well, that's what you want. So kid playing, he's playing with the club, huh?
Absolutely, yeah. And we had kind of talked about it. We practiced with it all week, but you don't know how you're gonna be able to play with it until you get into a game situation. He did have one. He was playing linebacker, quarterback to the ball, hit him right in the chest, and the club got him. So he wasn't.
Oh, he's gonna blame the club.
Oh yeah, he couldn't catch that one.
Coach, I'd have had that club. Normally that's a pick 6 for me. I'm sure.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, he was very frustrated that he wasn't able to reel that one in.
Well, I know, but he's glad to be on the field.
Absolutely, especially being a senior. He missed the first 2 weeks, so we were very excited to get him back, and excited to be able to watch him play football again.
How long is he gonna have that club on?
So he'll probably have the club until fall break if everything goes right. Then he'll go back to the doctor, and they'll be able to say whether or not he's got to keep playing in the club or if he can take it off and go. So right now we're just he'll get used to it. By the time he gets back without a club, it'll be weird playing without one.
Then he'll be bugging you want to play wide receiver so to prove he can catch the ball.
Absolutely.
All right, on the offensive side, of course, when you think Middle Tennessee Christian, you think Eli Wilson. Big game last night. 14 rushes, 217 yards, 4 touchdowns, 26 receiving yards. The Thursday night show we're talking about, we got Wilson and Santel, 2 guys on that side of the town, really lighting up the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, he's playing really well. He's running really hard. He's another one, senior that's been doing it for a while now. So he gets, again, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish on each play. And it's been great. Up front, blocked for him really well. On the perimeter, we blocked for him really well. And trying to make his job easier, right? Like, we get him in space, I'll take him against anybody. And so, but in order to do that, it's going to take the other 10 doing their job. And, we've been very fortunate and very blessed, and our kids are handling business.
Well, you mentioned something I just got through talking about earlier today with Coach Renshaw about all 11 players being on the same page, because you can have the best play drawn up for Eli. You know exactly what Eli can do, but if the other 10 aren't doing their job, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
Absolutely. Very similar to defense. Right now, our offense is flying around. They're physical. They up front, we're moving the defensive line back 2 or 3 yards. So you're giving Eli kind of that head start, or you're giving Yates that head start, or Gabe popped one for almost 40 last night for a touchdown. So we're able to do it in multiple different ways. And then like I said, we had Brooks Jones goes back there. We've had a young guy, Travion Mathis was back there for a little bit, and they're just out there flying around, getting to their spot, getting some movement on their guys, and it really allows Eli to then just kind of do his thing and make his cuts and make some plays.
Well, you mentioned a couple guys last night. Gabe Howell, 7 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Brooks Jones for the Cougars had 25 yards rushing, a TD, 9 tackles. So Brooks is playing both sides of the ball, playing them well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's kind of he's the battering ram offensively. It's funny every now and then on the sidelines. I'm like, I don't care what we run. I just want to give Brooks the ball. Like, let's give him the ball and let's see what happens. His 19-yard touchdown run, I think he broke like 5 tackles on the way in. And, it's just, he just plays with so much energy and so much effort at all times that, it's good to see him rewarded in that way. And then, Yates Guerin has been doing a great job for us. That first game, he threw the ball really well. We've just run it so efficiently the last 2 weeks that we haven't thrown the ball as much. But to know that we can whenever we want to is definitely huge for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, game dictates that. Last night rushing 389 yards for the Cougars that they had. Not a lot of passing yards, but game dictates it. If you can't stop the run, coach, you're not going to go away from it.
Absolutely. I mean, we're averaging, I think it was 10 yards a carry, if not more. And so at times it's want to throw it. I think we can throw it, but every time we run the football, the good things happen. So, let's just stick there and roll with it.
And coaches are creatures of habit. Like you said, you don't, if it's going, you don't stop it. And you're right. Y'all were at 10.4 yards per play last night, running the ball, 415 total offensive yards that you had there. So, lighting up the scoreboard there. Again, good things. You didn't need Yates. Yates was 3 of 5 last night. His longest completion was 16 yards, but I know Yates is probably very excited. Like I said, I can hand it this way to Eli. I can give it to Gabe. I can give it to Brooks. And like I said, I can just watch Brooks because he's just going to try to run over people.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so, one of the ones, it's actually, we had to update it. It didn't give him credit for his long run, but, he broke one off and he got about 21 yards. Yates did. And so, those are just things that over the last 2 years, maybe he doesn't do. But he's running so hard right now, and he understands what we're trying to accomplish. And, I'm really proud of him. It's tough sometimes to be the quarterback in what we do. But, when he's asked to make a play, he's making it. And, really proud of how he's handling it.
Well, like I said, different coaches do different things. Some coaches want game managers, protect the ball, make things happen. It sounds like you guys doing that.
Absolutely. His best trait is he knows what all 11 are doing on the field. So, if as coaches, we aren't perfect either. So sometimes if we say something and it doesn't make sense, he'll make the adjustment in the huddle, right? He'll make sure the backs, if they line up wrong, he'll get them fixed. And, he keeps us out of bad place, which is at that quarterback spot is so important. And it's what people from the outside don't notice, right? It's those little things of making sure that every play has a chance. And, we have some young guys that didn't really get carries last night, but especially in practice, like, he gets them all lined up, and he's really a big part of why, we've been able to give them the ball early in the year, because he makes sure they know what they're doing, and, they're able to succeed when they're in there.
Well, you said something during that really important. Don't notice. Well, that's what a coach wants. You don't want to have to notice certain things, because those things, like you said, are being taken care of on the field by your quarterback.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, last night, I don't think we had a negative rush all night. And again, that's a testament to the effort that we're playing at right now. We're our energy level, our effort's great. And, everyone getting to the right spots, doing what they're supposed to do, getting vertical when we're running the football. It's just been kind of getting all those pieces together. It's been fun.
Well, fun is always good, and fun's happening over at Middle Tennessee Christian. We're talking with head coach Christian Peterson. Now here's your curveball, coach. Knowing Robert Sane is over there, knowing the volleyball team, is there a little smack talking between the girls and the boys on this winning streaks?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm really excited for them. We actually, when we got out of practice on Tuesday, they were at home playing PCA. And so normally after practice, we can clean up the field, and then throughout the week, different age groups will vacuum locker room, make sure it stays clean. And I was like, guys, don't even vacuum. Just get changed. We're going up to volleyball. Let's go watch them play. Anytime we play in PCA at home, it doesn't matter the sport. I want to be there and support. And I coach track too, so I have a couple of girls on the volleyball team that help us out in track. So it's cool to go and watch them do other things. And the kids were great. They were there. They were excited. They were loud. And it's always fun getting to go and support all the teams on campus.
And those girls loved it.
Absolutely.
When y'all walked in, because you're gonna make your presence felt. The boys are gonna be pretty juiced up because they're boys, and the volleyball team's playing great. But I mean, that's the good thing about Middle Tennessee Christian. The connected, everybody's supporting one another, everybody's encouraging one another. I would probably bet everyone else volleyball girls were there last night at the football game.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been great. I say it every week, but the community at MTCS is what makes the place special. There's every school has something they're good at, and something that can get better or whatever. But the community at MTCS is unmatched, and it's fun to be a part of it. You see parents there that their kids graduated 4 or 5 years ago, and they're still there supporting all the sports. There's the people that have been there since the school opened. They're still there. They're still supporting. And it's cool to see how well everyone supports everybody. You go to a baseball game, you see a bunch of football players, volleyball players, everything there. Basketball is the same thing. And I think it's important. People show up on Friday nights to support us. It's important that we go and support everybody else. And so whenever we get that opportunity, we're going to try and take it, run with it, and enjoy it.
Well, I know all the coaches appreciate each other, supporting one another. Let's talk just for a minute. Speaking of community, let's talk about the community of the football program of Middle Tennessee Christian. You guys start the kids off. I don't know how much you dabble into it. The youth are playing flag football. You got middle school football going on. It's a program.
Absolutely. I think it's important, to have it where kids are excited to play football at MTCS. And so, it's really one of the things I want to focus on is, the 5th and 6th grade and 7th and 8th grade both play right now on Thursday nights. And so when we're done with our walkthrough on Thursday, our kids go up there and they watch them play. And, I tell them all the time, most of our kids played through that 5th and 6th grade, 7th and 8th grade teams. It was like, when you guys were there, the high school kids were like heroes to you.
Absolutely.
You got to show up on Friday night and watch them and go, well, now you're that guy. And so it's important that we're there, we're supporting them. And they do it the right way. They have fun, they interact with the kids, and kind of today's age, it'd be really easy to just go and not pay attention and just talk to each other, but they're in it. They're hooting and hollering from the sidelines. They're high-fiving kids when they come off. It's cool to make sure that everybody's kind of intertwined and, again, just building the excitement to play for MTCS.
Absolutely. So, as well as I do, I'm a 5th or 6th grader walking the halls or walking out and I see an Eli Wilson or a Perry, that's a big deal.
Absolutely. So we had a media day before the season started, and so we had at all levels of football. We're at the media day, and so we had some of the flag teams, like some of their kids were like hanging off Jesse's arms and some of the pictures and stuff. So it was cool to get all of those groups together. Again, like for me, I don't want it to be separate, right? Like we're not separate. We all play for MTCS. We're all one program. And I want to make sure that everybody feels included in what we're doing.
Well, it's good to start early. My son loved flag football. It gives him a good early sense before they put the pads on. And like you said, you get to middle school, you start playing, but you see that emblem on the side of that football helmet. And when you're a young kid, you start thinking, I'm going to wear that one day.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's got to mean something. Right. And I think right now it does. And, it's important to me to make sure that we maintain that and that, on Friday nights, we have a product on the field that people can support and be proud of, and not just winning, but doing it the right way. And, being at the middle school games and the 5th and 6th grade games, all those things, I think they're doing it the right way. And so I'm really proud of where we're at as a program right now. And it's just about maintaining it and keep looking every day to find ways to make it better.
Absolutely. All right, coming up next Friday night, you host the Clarksville Academy Battle of the Cougars next week, Coach. Cougars versus Cougars.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be a fun one. Coach Stedman just came over from Nashville Christian. Really good guy, really good football coach. So I'm sure he'll have some things ready for us. But, again, we get to play at home in front of the best fans in Tennessee. So excited for the opportunity. And, as long as we go out there and play with the energy and the effort level that we've been playing at, then I feel good with my guys. I'll take them in any battle.
All right. Clarksville Academy won last night, 27-14 over Sycamore, picking up a win. And so you guys will be looking to move to 4-0. Now, before I let you go, I have to take a dig at Robert Saint. I can't let it go without taking a dig at Robert Saint. Have you played golf with Robert Saint yet?
I have not. See, I'm not very good at golf. And so, he's pretty good.
And don't let him sandbag you.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He'll drag you out there and say, well, I'm not very good. I haven't touched a club in a while. He's lying.
Oh, yeah, no, he's out there playing golf every chance he gets. But, I go out there and I hit a ball and just hope I can find it. And we got to do, when we had our golf tournament for MTCS, I was there. So I get to see him, but I haven't played with him.
Don't. I'm just telling you, don't. He'll make you feel bad and he'll be nice about it, which makes it worse. He's all kind, but then like I said, he sandbags and all that stuff. So, Coach, good luck coming up this week. We've been talking to Middle Tennessee Christian Cougars head coach Christian Peterson. He's in battle with the volleyball team. We're going to talk about that here in a little bit with Brian Barrett. They've got good stuff going over there at MTCS. Get out, support the Cougars next Friday night.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
People love to see us on the schedule when they have a home game because our fans show up.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
The way we travel is just phenomenal. Our parents and our community are fully engaged in our school. When we compete, we're trying to do it in a way that honors God. We want to win. We also want to do it in a way that pleases Him.
Providing Christian values and academic excellence in a nurturing environment. That's Middle Tennessee Christian School. Invest in the future of your child. Find out more at mtcscougars.org. Dr. Russell McKissick of Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance talks about the grassroots effort in our local schools to ensure proper care for players.
To make sure our teams are covered here locally, be there for our trainers. Yeah, it's a passion that we have to try to take care of our athletes here in town and be there just to keep everybody playing as healthy and as best they can.
From a community standpoint, one of the most important things you do at TOA, I'd guess.
I think it's definitely a way to pay back to our community, just to be there for them and watch some great sports too.
Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance, TOA, live your best life.
Middle Tennessee Christian School, training for eternity.
We're going to be an educational institution that teach Bible every day. Every subject we teach, we're going to teach through a biblical perspective. In every aspect of our school, we're going to do it through a Christian perspective.
MTCS President Matt Tiller.
That also means that everything we do, we have to be excellent. We feel like Christ calls us to excellence. And so that means we have to be excellent academically. That means we have to be excellent athletically, because that's what God calls us to. It's a great place to be.
Invest in your child's future in an environment that fosters Christ-centered values. To find out more, visit mtcscougars.org.
It's MTCS Cougar Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro.
Presented by Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. TOA. Live your best life. Online at TOA.com.
On FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Welcome back to MTCS Cougar Corner here this morning. Brian Barrett kind of wrapping things up for the show. Do want to make mention of some other sports this week. I've got some volleyball, soccer, and cross-country news. Let's start off with volleyball. And the Cougars started the week with another district sweep to run their record to 18-1 and 5-0 in district play. And started off the week strong, a sweep of the Webb feat. The match was highlighted by a dominating performance and career achievement for senior Lily Watson, who became just the second player in program history to reach 1,000 kills, and she had 15 kills in the matches with Webb. Had an ace as well, and again, those 1,000 career kills, congratulations there. She has a 700 hitting percentage, too, just crazy. Haley Hudson had 28 assists, 4 aces, and 4 digs. A few more, Addison Burks, 10 digs, 5 aces, 2 assists. Anna Clay Shirley, 6 kills, 8 digs, and an ace. Jada Burns, 7 kills and an ace. Maddie Moore with 3 kills and a block. Jessie Pierce with 4 digs and an ace. Bailey Culpepper with 2 aces, a kill, and a dig. And Maddie Box with 2 aces and 2 digs. Volleyball continued on in the week on Tuesday and bounced back after dropping their first set to their rival Providence Christian, and finished out with a 3-1 win over PCA, and dropped the first set 25-23, but won the next 3, 25-10, 25-22, and 25-17. Haley Hudson with 48 assists, 8 digs, and an ace. Anna Clay Shirley, 17 kills, 10 digs, and an ace. Lily Watson with 18 kills, 2 digs, and 2 blocks. It was Addison Burks with 23 digs, 2 aces, and 2 assists. Jada Burns, 14 kills, 5 digs. Jessie Pierce, 15 digs, 2 aces. Maddie Box with 12 digs. It was Maddie Moore with 3 kills and a block, and Bailey Culpepper with 2 digs. Let's see, Thursday, straight set win over Columbia Academy, and now 20-1 on the season are the Lady Cougars, and they're going to get the holiday weekend off. They get back at it next Tuesday. It was Addison Burks in that victory with 20 digs and 5 aces, 16 kills for Lily Watson, and 28 assists, 6 digs, 3 aces, and 2 kills for Haley Hudson. Anna Clay Shirley with 5 kills, 4 digs, and an ace. Jada Burns with 4 kills, 2 digs, and an ace. Bailey Culpepper with 2 digs, 3 aces, 3 digs, and 3 assists. Maddie Box with 6 digs and 4 aces. Jessie Pierce with 6 digs. Maddie Moore with 3 kills. Addison Sane with 2 kills and 2 digs. 3 digs for Alina Reynolds, and Miley Smith with a dig and an ace, and 1 dig for Ava Spurlock. So that's an update on volleyball. To soccer, MTCS defeating Cannon County 3-1, playing a tough opponent there. The game was close from the start to finish. Lindsay Wisnowski with 8 saves in goal, 2 goals for Bella Burdette, Joanna Lafort with a goal, and Keyston Rye with an assist on Thursday. To cross-country, MTCS girls cross-country competed in the Welch College Invitational in Gallatin on Tuesday, and Rebecca Meyer was 12th overall with a time of 24 minutes, 10 seconds, and Britton Clark, 32 minutes, 21 seconds, and Gabby Tone with a time of 32 minutes, 25 seconds. On the boys' side of things, in that same invitational, their results, Sean Pageant, 21 minutes, 28 seconds. Troy Rubley with 22 minutes 56 seconds and 23 minutes 35 seconds for Reed Birdwell. Of course, we do have the Labor Day holiday on Monday. Nothing scheduled, but boy, is Tuesday packed. We're talking about volleyball, varsity, JV. We've got girls varsity golf in action, middle school cross country, girls and boys middle school tennis, all kinds of things. You need to check out mtcssports.com and look at all of the events. So the place is going to be hopping. You got soccer, JV, middle school, and it's just really a busy time. Cross country in action too. On Thursday, girls middle school and boys middle school tennis. They will take on Thurman Francis at MTCS, and middle school JV also going on there. Volleyball, they are at Battleground Academy. 5th and 6th grade football playing at Good Pasture, and it's also middle school at Good Pasture as well. Volleyball will be playing Mount Juliet Christian at the varsity gym as well. And varsity soccer at FRA. Friday brings a big day of volleyball there in a tournament. JV girls and varsity in a tournament, as well as cross country at the Hermitage for the MSCCA Middle School Championships. And, of course, varsity football at home versus Clarksville Academy. So that's a look at the schedule as well for the Cougars. And that's going to do it for us this morning. Next Friday night, we'll be at Stewart's Creek as Rockvale goes to Stewart's Creek for a big Rutherford County matchup. And we'll have that on the air for you Friday night, 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff. This evening, be sure to tune in for Middle Tennessee football. Chip Walters and Joe Dubin will have the action from Tuscaloosa as the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders take on Alabama. 6:30 kickoff. You'll hear it right here on the flagship station for Middle Tennessee Blue Raider Sports, News Radio, WGNS. My thanks to Clark Blair for helping out this morning. Always appreciate Clark coming in sometimes in a pinch, and he's always willing. I do appreciate that. And, of course, John coming up even after that recent knee surgery, just keeps on keeping on. Couldn't do it without all these guys. And our producer today, Jackson Smith, great job there as well. Hope you enjoy your Saturday. Hope you enjoy this Labor Day weekend. Enjoy the kickoff of college football, too. Hope you have a great one. We'll see you back here next Saturday morning for another edition of the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner and MTCS Cougar Corner.